to be better. This team, of course, feels the same way as the one 71 years ago. It will only matter if it all ends with a parade. MSG is the network for New York Yankees baseball, and we welcome you back to the most historic place in sports. At Yankee Stadium tonight, the Yankees begin a 4-game stretch that will carry them to the end of the 1998 season. For the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, it'll be veteran Wilson Alvarez with a disappointing season with some injuries. Lately, he's been pitching better. And David Wells gets his last chance to find a groove, preparing for Tuesday night's beginning of the postseason here in the Bronx. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Trowick. In a moment, we'll get you upstairs to Jim Cott and Ken Singleton. But tonight, we get a chance to watch Shane Spencer play another game. And for all the anticipation that Shane has created with all his at-bats, the Yankee Stadium fans will likely give him the same reception that they did last night. Every time he came up, they responded. And he nearly hit for the cycle. In addition to this long home run, there was a double and a single, so he only missed by not getting a triple. But quite clearly, Shane Spencer is making a mark on the Yankees, and Joe Torre now with only 4 games to go before the postseason arrives. Last night he went 3 for 4. This after the doubleheader day when he went 5 for 7. And in 23 games, he's hitting a very, very snazzy .415 with 7 home runs and 18 RBIs. Well, he'll be in right field tonight. The New York Yankees stand poised to venture into uncharted territory as far as this franchise goes. And because it's the winningest team in the history of baseball, it's pretty amazing stuff. Let's go upstairs to Jim and Ken.
Thanks a lot, Al. And if the Yankees do attain that all-time franchise record of 111 wins, it'll be up to the bullpen tonight to probably close it down. David Wells isn't going to pitch 9 innings, so let's take a look at the Yankee bullpen.
Well, the bullpen was in effect last night, and they got some good pitching, particularly from the left-hander Graham Lloyd, who a lot of people thought might be on the bubble as far as postseason is concerned. He came in and got 2 tough left-handed hitters, including Jim Thome. And Graham Lloyd, with reception to the dugout from his teammates, pitched very well in last night's ball game. Another pitcher, Darren Holmes, has been out for a lot of the season with a bad back. He was on the mound for the final outs of the game as the double play was turned. You look at his reaction, he has pitched well since coming off the disabled list.
And that's a look at how the bullpen has performed all year, led by Mariano Rivera with 36 saves out of 41 opportunities. Mike Stanton did so well when Mariano was on the DL early. Joe Torre would like to see Jeff Nelson sharpen up a little bit this last weekend. He'll probably get a chance to pitch some in tonight's ball game. So it's the last weekend series of the regular season. The Yankees going for that all-time franchise record of 111 wins. David Wells with a glimmer of hope to win the Cy Young Award will start tonight. We'll have it for you when we come back.
So it makes you say, did somebody say McDonald's? By American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. By Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth. And by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers.
Great time of the year in and around the city. First day of fall yesterday, and as Al Troutwig said, David Wells' last tune-up before the division series. Looks like he's honoring Babe Ruth tonight with those old conventional pants tucked up around the knees. Here's the lineup he'll face. Devil Rays, not known for scoring a lot of runs, will lead it off with Speedy Randy Wynn, Quentin McCracken, then Bobby Smith, the veteran Fred McGriff, Bubba Trammell, Aaron Ledesma, the ex-Met, bottom thirds Mike Kelly, Miguel Cairo, and John Flaherty.
Let's check out the Yankees defensively. Behind David Wells tonight. In the infield, it's going to be Brosius, Jeter, Knobloch, and Soho. In the outfield, Curtis Williams and Spencer. Jorge Posada does the catching. And David Wells is on the mound. Luis Soho made a nice play in last night's ball game. I think we usually think of Luis Soho playing second, short, third. Maybe not as much at first, but he handled a nice play on that double play last night at the end of the ball game.
First pitch. Well out of the strike zone. That's unusual for David Wells. As you see his numbers, the Yankees are actually 24-5 in the games that he has started. And when you look at the walk strikeout ratio, 26 walks, 158 strikeouts. That's fouled straight back 1-1. It is the high. Get this. It is the highest strikeout to walk ratio of any left-hand pitcher this century. That's how good his control has been. Leads the American League in average innings per start, in fewest walks per 9 innings, and fewest base runners. In for a strike, 1-2. Pedro Martinez, who, along with Wells, probably the other candidates to win the Cy Young other than Clemens. Quick check in the scouting report.
Walks are taboo. You just saw it. Fastball on target. Multiple finishing pitches, including a cutter, a slider, and a changeup.
Went with the high smoke, and John Shulak, the veteran umpire, said, yes, you did go around Randy Wynn, and Wells starts the game with a strikeout.
You know, you put a fastball up in the hitter's eyes, and they see it so well, and it's hard for them to lay off. And you get a lot of strikeouts on pitches that ride up in the zone. Hitters that just think, oh, I see it. They go for it, and they realize it's not in the strike zone.
Another example of why we should have the high strike back in the game. That strikeout right there. Here's Quentin McCracken, who's had a good year for these first-year Devil Rays. Ex-Colorado Rocky takes the fastball outside for a ball.
Yeah, McCracken got a hit in last night's ball game, and by doing so, he now has the most hits ever by a first-year expansion player, 176 hits. That's one more than Charlie Hayes had for the 1993 Colorado Rockies.
Good overhand hook in for a strike, 1-1. A very comfortable 64 degrees in the Bronx. And who better than David Wells, with all of his thoughts of Babe Ruth. And tonight, of course, the 64th anniversary of the last game that Babe Ruth played as a member of the Yankees here at the stadium. I think that's why Boomer's got the high tops going, the high socks. Who better than him to start the game? If the Yankees win, would be the all-time winning total, all-time franchise high, 111 wins.
I'm surprised he doesn't have one of those threes on his back taped over.
If he could get by with it, he would. Swinging strikeout, 2 for Wells to start the game.
Well, we talked about the finishing pitches. This looked more like a cutter than the fastball. Posada shifts to the inside. See that ball with the down and in movement. That's an ankle biter right there, and it's strike 3.
Umpire lineup brought to you by NAM, National Arbitration and Mediation. Most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. John Shulak is the chief, then Tim Cheetah, Brian O'Nora, and Rick Reed's behind the plate. Swinging strike 1 by Bobby Smith, and that is a problem that Tampa Bay will try to solve. They love the skills of Bobby Smith. He's got 11 home runs, but a pretty free swinger and a little difficult time making contact.
Yeah, 104 strikeouts and 359 at-bats.
Oh, quickly 0-2. He'll be in there tomorrow. Wade Boggs chasing that 3,000 hit total. He'll come up a little short this year. And the crowd would like to see Wells strike out the side to start this ball game. In the dirt, 1-2.
Another thing that Wells, when he gets in a rhythm, I mean, he can't wait to get the ball back so he can get it back in there, just get the sign and go. And he's dictating the pace of the game that way.
As he's done all year. Got him. Struck out the side, 2 swinging, 1 called. Tuning up for next Tuesday's start in the division series. Off to a great start. Yankees coming to bat against Lefty Wilson Alvarez when we come back. Chili Davis, Shane Spencer, and Jorge Posada. Chad Curtis, Scott Brocious, Luis Soho. They're brought to you by Bob Stores. Great buys on brands you wear.
Well, the Devil Rays behind Wilson Alvarez going to be Smith, Ledesma, Cairo, and McGriff in the infield. McCracken, Wynn, and Kelly, pretty good speed in the outfield. They have a fine defensive ball club. John Flaherty's behind the plate. You're looking at Quentin McCracken out in left field. We talked about his hitting prowess this year with Tampa Bay. He is actually tied for the league lead in assists as an outfielder. Started the year in center field, now playing left field with Randy Wynn taking over in center.
Second lowest error total in the American League. As you look at Alvarez's numbers, just the opposite of David Wells. He is usually among the leaders in base on balls. 1993 led the American League, and in his career about 4.5 walks per 9 innings. The strikeout potential is there, and he has a no-hitter to his credit in his career back in 1991. Good overhand curveball, and he'll face Knobloch to start the ball game. High for a ball. Still wearing the elbow pad on the left arm where he was struck by a pitch 2 nights ago. That's just there for precautionary measures, a little bruise.
You know, but if I'm Knobloch, I think I wouldn't give that up.
In the air, right center. Kelly and Wynn converge, and now Wynn at the last minute makes the call and the catch, 1 down.
Because Knobloch has that front elbow stationed almost right over the inside corner, and see those running fastballs, those are the ones that get him. You see that right almost straight down on the inside corner as we watch him follow through on the swing. And look, a little miscommunication here. Randy Wynn was saying something, but looked like he was looking towards Mike Kelly to make the catch. They have great speed. Wynn can really run. So can Kelly, and McCracken out there in left field is no slouch either. All great former college stars. Mike Kelly from Arizona State. Randy Wynn actually was a terrific basketball player as well at Santa Clara. And Quentin McCracken at Dookie. Jeter takes inside for a ball. A football player at Duke. Yeah. Going back to your point on Knobloch, if it's comfortable swinging the bat like Mo Vaughn does, if you can get all that armor on you can handle, boy, it just it gives you more confidence to dive into that inside pitch, not worry about getting nicked. It's outside, 2-0. Derek's average at .325, 10 points behind his teammate Bernie Williams, who leads the league. Mo Vaughn 3 points behind Bernie. I think Derek, again, we saw it last night, couple balls hit in the air, would love to get that 20th home run. Swung through the fastball there, and it's 2-1. All-time Yankee record for a shortstop. He was telling me before the game, though, he said, I need some hits. 2 away from 200. That's a good swing there, fouled out of play, and it's 2-2. Holy cow. The scooter. Speaking of good Yankee shortstops, happy birthday to the scooter. Wish we'd see him around here a little more. Yeah. That backs Jeter off the plate, and the count is full. .200 hit season for Derek Jeter in the offing. You know, you mentioned the fact that he's a little bit down the list as far as the batting title. .325, 10 points behind. That's a little tough to make up. Good live fastball there. Jeter swings through it, and there's 2 down in the Yankee first. 10 points a little tough to make up in 4 days. This time of year, you have so many at bats. Even when you get a hit, you don't move up a point. Bernie Williams going to keep on. See a little nod out there, I think, to Wilson Alvarez. Kind of a how you do it. Bernie from Puerto Rico, Alvarez from Venezuela. They've done battle several times. Bernie going to keep on piling up the at-bats and try to earn that American League batting title. In for a strike. I think the fan with the happy birthday Scooter sign might not be at tomorrow's game, so they came a night early because Scooter's birthday. Actually, tomorrow's scouting report on Alvarez. He can heat it up. He's got a good fastball. More walks to left-handed hitters than strikeouts. I thought that was interesting, but the Yankees do not have a left-handed hitter in the lineup tonight. O'Neill and Tino Martinez sitting out. They get tonight off. They'll be in there tomorrow night against ex-Yankee Dave Island. He's going to start for the Devil Rays tomorrow night. Had a good year down at Durham, their AAA affiliate. High and outside, 1-2. Yeah, Alvarez is the all-time winningest pitcher from Venezuela. got 77 career wins. And Kitty, you mentioned that no-hitter that came in his second major league game.
Yeah. Against your old club. Ooh, that was a close pitch there. A little low, said Rick Reed. 2-2. And you mentioned from Venezuela. Venezuela known more as a country that produces shortstops.
Yeah.
Like Luis Aparicio and Luis Sojo and Ozzie Guillen, Davey Concepcion. Yeah. But not a lot of pitchers from Venezuela. Grounded toward first base. Fred McGriff retreats. He'll toss to Alvarez in time. And Wilson Alvarez has a 1-2-3 inning to match David Wells. Fred McGriff will be coming to bat against David Wells when we come back on MSG. No score at the stadium. By Citibank. Use Citibank's new PC banking to place orders to trade stock for as little as $19.95 per trade. That's a better bargain than you can get than trading someone like this guy. But how about John Schuerholz? And the general manager of the Atlanta Braves, I think, deserves a lot of credit. Fred McGriff, and you see his numbers, was a great part of Atlanta's success when they acquired him from San Diego. As he swings through the fastball, strike one, but very timely, they let him go and picked up Andres Galarraga, and he's done better, really, than McGriff was doing.
Well, you know, I think you have to, when you compare the two, I mean, Andres Galarraga certainly has more opportunities than men on base. Not to say that McGriff wasn't on the downslide. I think he was a bit. And they did make a good move in getting Galarraga. Galarraga is actually older than Fred McGriff. But then Galarraga is better defensively. But I would think when you got Chipper Jones and Walt Weiss and all those players around you, McGriff doesn't have that type of offense around him. So it might be a little tougher to produce runs.
Yeah, this as far as this year is concerned. But
I know what you mean, though.
Yeah. General managers have to make that decision. You know, when do I get rid of a guy? Just before his peak time? Fastball up and in, 1-1. David Wells will hook up next Tuesday night, it appears, with the Rangers sweeping the Angels, with somebody like maybe Rick Helling or John Burkett, maybe even Mel Stottlemyre's son, Todd Stottlemyre, who has come off two great performances against the Anaheim Angels to put the Rangers in position to wrap it up. 2-1 to McGriff. High and away, 2-2, rather 3-1. Aaron Seeley pitching tonight for the Rangers. If they defeat the Mariners and the Angels lose to the Oakland Athletics, they would wrap up the American League West. That's in for a strike, and the count is full, and they certainly have earned it by defeating the Angels 5 straight times.
This last series in Anaheim, the Angels scored 3 runs in 3 days, outscored 25-3, and they went in there and just took care of business.
And each team with 4 games left. Toward Jeter, perfect. Oh, he bobbles it, but he will have time, and he gets it. Nice recovery by Derek Jeter. Don't see him bobble many ground balls, but alertly picked it up and still got McGriff by half a stride.
Well, it's nice when you have a backup plan, and the backup in this case is a strong arm. Gets rid of it quickly and just in time to get Fred McGriff. I'll tell you, shortstops and third basemen, when they bobble a ball, they have to hustle to get it across there. And Jeter, if it wasn't for this strong arm, and you can see he didn't even stride, he just picked it up and gunned it over there, and he gets McGriff out.
Here's Bubba Trammell. A shortstop is probably the only infield position where you can seldom knock the ball down, recover, and still throw the runner out. You usually have to pick it cleanly. Ex-Detroit Tiger with plenty of power, hitting as the designated hitter tonight. That's 2-0. Going back to Jeter, you remember early in the year what the comment that Buck O'Neill made about Derek Jeter?
Oh, yeah. On the rain delay game in Kansas City, yeah.
Said he was the best shortstop, played the best shortstop that he'd seen in the American League. That's up and in, 3-0. And when you see the other great ones, and Nomar Garciaparra is having a great year, but you look at the error totals and the way they handle a position, Jeter probably gets a little overlooked for how smooth and consistent he is in the field. Only 9 errors this year, and of course Omar Vizquel's kind of got a lock on that Gold Glove award, just has 5. A rare 4-pitch walk for David Wells. Wow, that's something different. 4 straight out of the strike zone. Didn't happen back in the first inning.
No, it didn't. In fact, the first inning ended pretty quickly. Randy Wynn tried to check his swing. He's headed back to the dugout. Strikeout number 1. This is Quentin McCracken. Yep, cutter down and in. Strikeout number 2. Then Bobby Smith, well, he's just frozen. Call strike 3. 3 in a row in the first inning.
And 1 of each. A fastball, a cutter, and a curve. As you said, he has 3 pitches he can finish a hitter off with. Here's Aaron Ledesma, the ex-New York Met. Came up with the Mets in the early 90s. Played some of the Baltimore Orioles, and good-looking batting average. .325. Not the strong suit of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They are last in the American League in most hitting categories.
Ledesma leads the team, hitting .290 with runners in scoring position. And Tampa Bay is last in the league in that. The team average is .229. So that shows you, even when they get runners out there available to come home, it's hard for them to score. The team is built on pitching and defense, and they do a good job of that. Larry Rothschild, former pitching coach of the world champion Florida Marlins.
Wells back on target now. It's 0-2 to Ledesma. And he'll picks on an 0-2 curveball, hits it out into center field. First hit for the Devil Rays, and they've got 2 on with 1 out here in the second inning.
You don't expect many 0-2 breaking balls to be right centered in the middle of the plate, but that one was. And he jumps on it for the base hit. Kind of hung right there. If you ask David Wells, he'll probably say that should have been hit for a base hit.
Not where he wanted it. Going back to the walk of Bubba Trammell. September 24 today. David Wells has walked 3 men since the 1st of August. 3 men in 7 weeks. There's Mike Kelly. There's a curveball. Nice block by Posada. Mike Kelly, a star at Arizona State, #1 draft pick. High expectations, and still young enough to develop into a good all-around everyday player. 10 home runs and just 31 RBIs this year. Devil Rays have their owner in town as well as a lot of their fans tonight.
Look like the Twins are in, doesn't it?
Speaking of Twins, there's a representative of the Twins here as well. Clark Griffith, the son of the former owner Calvin Griffith, in the stadium tonight, making a bid to buy the Minnesota Twins and keep them in the Twin Cities. Fouled at the plate, 1-1.
Probably trying to give you some of that money his dad owed you.
Yeah, that's right. We were talking about that. Yeah. He kept it pretty tight to himself. Talking about the economics of baseball, there's an example. Calvin Griffith sold the Minnesota Twins for $36 million back in the mid-'80s, which was thought to be an extravagant price, and his son Clark, 14 years later, is making an offer for $110 million to buy him from the current owner. Good off-speed pitch. And Kelly swings through it, 1-2.
Yeah, that was as good a changeup. I think that's the first changeup that David Wells has thrown tonight, and picked the perfect place to throw it. Mike Kelly's sitting on the fastball, and you can see he can't hold up enough to get to it. Good changeup.
Kelly stays alive, swinging foul on the curveball. Mike is 28 years old. It's Miguel Cairo waiting on deck. And he was a #1 draft pick of the Atlanta Braves in 1991. Great college career at Arizona State.
That's a school with such a good baseball tradition. Great players. Barry Bonds out of there.
Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. Sal Bando.
Another good curve, and it's fouled at the plate.
Gary Gentry, I believe, maybe.
I think they were really the first college program that, I mean, Rod Dedeaux and all his great Southern California teams had great teams, but as far as a school that really produced a lot of big leaguers, that's the school that began to get recognition. Horner and Bando, and along Reggie Jackson, and along came Bob Horner. A lot of hitters. I don't think there were a lot of star pitchers that came out of there that became stars in the big leagues. In on the hands, grounded toward third, metal roll foul. Devil Rays 95 losses. That's the highest total in the American League. They are, we mentioned, they're kind of at the bottom in most hitting categories. They're last in runs and home runs, doubles, RBIs, all those important categories. And you mentioned Larry Rothschild, the former coach of the Marlins, as well as the 1990 Cincinnati Reds, has decided to try to build this team around pitching and defense to begin with. They'll need some more thumpers next year to improve.
Especially when you play in what I consider a hitting ballpark.
Just missed the inside corner. Wells with a long look at Rick Reed. Kind of wanted that one. 2-2.
Tropicana Field, were there last week. Infield's quick, fences are close. That's a hitting ballpark. Yep, that one just missed. Let's see how much of the corner does. Maybe just a hair inside.
Posada was setting up inside. Kelly fouling off some good pitches. Going back to that target, I know we see it often. Catchers move a great deal from side to side. That's what influences the crowd reaction. Catchers sometimes set up well off the plate. Little team picture on the mound. Maybe the infielders said, "Hey, we thought it was a fastball, and he threw a curveball." A little mix up on the signs, possibly. Joe Girardi will probably catch tomorrow night's game. The Yankees will start El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, and then Andy Pettitte they'll kind of split that game up. And you would assume Joe Torre still undecided on which of those two will start game 2 of the division series. Up and in. Now the count's gone full. Kelly's turned this into a tough at bat.
Larry Rothschild has the chance, as you see, Andy Pettitte and El Duque, tomorrow night's pitchers, sitting side by side and communicating in the dugout. He has a chance to move the runners here on the 3-2 pitch to Mike Kelly. Of course, you have to take some things into consideration. How much does Mike Kelly strike out?
They're not going, and it's the 10th pitch of the at-bat, and he fouls that one back.
Yeah, Kelly's had 272 at-bats and has struck out 79 times, so that's a pretty high rate. Instead of, you don't want to strike him out, throw him out, double play, and you're out of the other team's out of the inning. Steve Henderson, former Met, hitting coach now with Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Pitch number 11 and another $9 souvenir.
I'm trying to think who the pitcher and the hitter who had that at bat. It was Ricky Gutierrez early this year for Houston in Bartolo Colon in an interleague game, and it was I believe it was a 10-minute at bat.
Really?
And he finally struck out. Fouled off something like 17 pitches.
Make a lot of fans happy. Another one. Broken bat that time. Boy, Kelly is hanging in there. And this is the amount of pitches you normally expect David Wells to throw in a complete inning and be out of it. But Mike Kelly is prolonging that. And every pitch that he throws this inning, of course, will just shorten David Wells' overall night.
Kenny, what did pitchers feel like when they destroy a bat like that? What did it make you feel like?
Well, the one thing, you want it to be an out. You know, when you're making good pitches like that and the guy breaks his bat and it's a foul ball, say, man, I want an out. You know, David Wells threw 12 pitches in the first inning, and he's now thrown 12 to to Mike Kelly. And I say it might shorten his night because Mel Stottlemyre will monitor his pitch count tonight.
Yeah.
They're just going to allow him to throw enough pitches to be comfortable and come back on Tuesday night at full strength for the division series.
I talked to Mel before the game. As you look at Frank Howard.
Hondo.
Yeah, Hondo.
Here we go again. Getting back to Frank Howard. You can always tell the hitters that were comfortable hitting against you during your playing career because they come right up to you. How you doing, Jimmy? Nice to see you again. I said, yeah, Frank, you looking for one of those little cross seamers about belt high, and he could hit one of those as far as anyone. He could make a lot of ballparks look small. Hard-working coach, as he was with the Mets as well as the Yankees. He coached for a lot of teams. Another one. That's going to reach the seats.
Turned it into ball night, isn't it?
So Mike Kelly must have heard you talking about the Ricky Gutierrez Bartolo Colon at bat. He's going to threaten that record. That's the 14th pitch of the at bat.
No, I think I said 17. It might have been more pitches than that, but it was 20. But the at bat lasted forever.
Wow. And that's what's really frustrating. All those pitches and then lose him on a full count at bat. As you see, the lowest walk rates in a single season. Back in 1942, 1949, Ernie Bonham and David Wells now in this season the third lowest walk total. And would you believe it, as we brag about Boomer's control, that he has already walked 2, and the last time that happened was July 26 against the White Sox. 2 months since he's walked 2 men in a start. Here's Cairo with the bases loaded and 1 out. He went around, said John Shulak. Strike 1.
Now here's a guy who's relatively tough to strike out, puts bat on ball, and part of the reason is he has that unusual grip of the bat. A lot of bat control when you can split your hands. You don't see this approach very often. But I guess that works for Miguel Cairo.
0-2.
Last 3 games. 5 for 12. Out of the Cubs organization. It's amazing. You put together a ball club and everybody comes from somewhere else. They've been taught how to do things in different ways, and you got to make a ball club out of it.
Yeah, you're right. In spring training, I mean, the game is 3 strikes you're out and all that kind of stuff. That's basic, but every organization has a little different way of teaching things, relay throws, the subtle skills of baseball. So you're right. It's the job of Larry Rothschild and his coaches to put this team together. Cairo has not done well with the bases loaded, as you see. Big swing there, fouled straight back. I got to believe a lot of tonight's inconsistency with David Wells, as John Flaherty, the catcher, waits on deck, is the concentration factor. He knows this is just a tune-up. I mean, it would take an awfully bad start by Roger Clemens for him not to be the Cy Young winner. That's inside, 1-2. So this is one of those like spring training. Hey, get your work in, have 5 or 6 good innings, test all your pitches out. You see Posada reach for that. That was off the corner. they're foul balls. So the Devil Ray hitters pesky against David Wells.
They're in the spoiler role up there at the plate. First Kelly, now Cairo.
Yankees are 7-1 this year against Tampa Bay. They lost a game down at Tropicana Field on the last road trip. And Cairo spoils another one.
For a while, they thought that Cairo was going to be the replacement for Ryan Sandberg. And didn't work out. They decided to go another route and make a trade, trading Doug Glanville to the Philadelphia Phillies and getting Mickey Morandini. Morandini's had a good year for the Cubs. I think Cairo has acquitted himself well with the Devil Rays.
Must be some heat on Kenny down the corner of that dugout. You see all those Yankees huddled up there? Over the head of Brocious, the high hopper into left field. 2 will score. And the Devil Rays have broken on top 2-0. Making it a tough inning for David Wells. That's his 39th pitch of the second inning. And there's still just 1 out and 2 on.
This ball took a tremendous hop over the head of Scott Brocious and on into left field for the base hit. Looked like it hit the lip right where the dirt meets the grass in front of home plate and went straight up in the air like it hit a trampoline. The ball it hit normally, I believe that might have been a double play ball to get David Wells out of the inning.
Yeah, almost like an AstroTurf hit. 2-0 Devil Rays, and here's catcher John Flaherty. Good fastball, strike 1. Flaherty with 3 home runs, 24 RBIs.
Flaherty can be a free agent at the end of the year. So he's not having his best offensive year, hitting at only .211. They got him from San Diego in a trade for Brian Boehringer, the former Yankee pitcher.
0-2. Wells has had no trouble getting to 2 strikes. It's been the Devil Rays have been pesky in these type counts. Yeah, expansion's been a wonderful thing for ball players. You mentioned John Flaherty, who was with the Tigers, the Red Sox. Mentioned the Padres, and now another opportunity with the Devil Rays. On the run are the base runners, and the ball is popped up. They'll have to retreat in a hurry. Brocious makes the grab. Not quite. Good reaction by Mike Kelly to get back quickly. And that's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, Mike Kelly able to get back, even though when he got to third base, he actually slipped in trying to stop. You see the coach waving him back, Orlando Gomez, and just ahead of the throw. There's Kelly in full retreat, headed for second base. Brocious with the delivery to the knob block, but couldn't get him. Only Kelly's speed. This is kind of a fun play, isn't it? Watch, whoop, one way. It looks like, you know, when he used to play basketball in high school, those preseason workouts, they run, touch the line, and then run all the way back and touch the other line.
Here's Randy Wynn. Takes the curve in for a strike.
I used to hate those.
Strikeout victim in the first inning. Wells breezed through the first 12 pitches, 3 strikeouts. The second inning here has been a little different story. Pair of walks, pair of hits. Well over 40 pitches. High in the air, behind second. Knobloch is there. And he puts it away. But the Devil Rays break through against David Wells. They take a 2-0 lead. Yankees coming to bat in the bottom of the second when we come back.
People
Due in part by your local Chrysler Plymouth dealers. Happy to have you with us on MSG, the last weekend of the regular season. The Yankees will just use this as a tune-up. You'll see several of the regulars play a day or two. Not a complete game. Joe Torre, as Chili Davis takes strike one, will parade a lot of his relief pitchers out there. That's going to be the key this weekend. Even though Graham Lloyd had an outstanding outing last night, I think the Yankees would still like to see some more of that. Jeff Nelson will get some chances to sharpen up a little bit. The arm strength is there, but his control has not been good. It's a ball and a strike now to Chili Davis. You'll see Nelson in the game, I'm sure, a little bit later tonight. Inside, 2-1.
Chili Davis has been getting a lot of at-bats this month and trying to sharpen up his swing, get his timing ready for postseason play. Chili's from both sides of the plate, he's hitting about even as far as his average is concerned. He's hitting 284 overall, but 286 right-handed, 283 left-handed. So that's.
And he hasn't done well against Alvarez. A little late on the fastball there, and that's kind of been the story these last couple weeks. Chances are Chili will hit from the left side against the Rangers. And they look like the team that'll come in here, and if they do, they're going to throw all right-hand starters at you. Outside, and the count's full.
Now, Wilson Alvarez suffered from tendonitis this year. As we look at the, yeah, that is him. Shane Spencer on deck. Shoulder tendonitis, went on the DL May 28th. Was out for quite a while.
Alvarez puts him away on the high fastball. That's his second strikeout of the game, and he has set down the first 4. And here he comes. The Yankees' new hero. And in the background, you can hear the crowd. They're aware of what he's done. 7 home runs, but in September, he has hit 5. Third Yankee rookie to hit 2 home runs twice in a game at the stadium. Bernie Williams leads the Yankees with 6, and Paul O'Neill next, tied with Spencer, 5 home runs during the month. Here's yesterday's.
It was something up in the strike zone, and it was well tagged. Jason Hockamy, after that ball landed, the Indians were trailing 5-4.
Fouled straight back. Good swing there. On this tear that he's been on, this was pointed out by Anaheim Angels scout Moose Stubing, who's in here anticipating the Angels might play the Yankees. Shane Spencer in the last couple series has only swung and missed 1 pitch. It was a curveball in last night's ball game. He's been on just about everything. Change up high and away, 2-1. And he's getting a lot of counts like this. A lot of good hitters counts, showing good discipline, and then picking on a fastball. Waited good, fouled it out of play. That was another change.
Yeah, he doubled up on it.
Now, waited on it.
Kitty, how much of this do you think is that the pitcher's not really knowing Shane Spencer and, you know, maybe realizing that he has some power and being very careful, then falling behind, then all of a sudden they have to come to him, and he's ready?
I think that's part of it, but like that last swing, he's certainly shown some pretty good discipline and reaction on off-speed pitches as well. Stays alive.
Although when I think back to his 2-homer game the other day, he hit the first pitch both times. He had a fastball, 1 curve.
Right.
Yeah.
And he runs the count full. Nothing new for Alvarez. The lack of control in the second inning a little unusual for Wells. Posada waits on deck. But Alvarez will go to a lot of full counts. Mentioned Wilson averages well over 4 walks a game in his career. High in the air to left, but not quite as deep as some of his others. Quentin McCracken will have room, but another good at bat, a good swing. I mean, They all appreciate it. They know he just missed a home run by a millimeter.
I think he just didn't get his hands and arms quite extended. Just a little bit. Swing was a little late. You see him shake his head. He knows he just missed it. Alvarez came inside with a fastball. He's quick with the bat, but just not quick enough there. And if Alvarez backs that pitch off maybe just 1 or 2 miles an hour, that ball's in the seats.
Yeah, as usual, he gives the fans and his teammates a thrill. 2 down now. Here's Posada. Good fastball, strike one. You saw and commented on him shaking his head. As soon as he hit it, he knew he didn't have enough of it. And hitters and pitchers can recognize that sound immediately. As a pitcher, you know when it hits the bat, rub up a new one.
As a hitter,
yeah.
you get the feel. Right. When it leaves that bat, it's not staying in here.
Curve misses, 2-0. Jeter mimicking Spencer's short, compact swing. Backdoor curveball misses, 2-1. Let's check out our American League leaders versus lefties with a minimum of 100 at-bats. That's the New York Presbyterian batting leaders, the area's new leader in healthcare. Brocious up at the top, hitting left-hand pitching, and Posada right behind him. Bernie Williams also in the top categories there.
And Jeter. That's why the Yankees into last night were hitting .306 against left-handed pitching.
And as we said, if the Rangers come in, they won't see many left-hand pitchers other than an occasional appearance out of the bullpen. Another full count. Wilson could put that on his license plate.
You make a pitch right here.
3 and 2, right?
Right. Struck him out. Good live fastball. So he has set down the first 6 Yankees in order. Spencer gave everyone a thrill with that long fly. He knew it wasn't out. 2-0 Tampa Bay. We head to the 3rd. Back after this. 27th Sunday. It's a 1:30 start. Saturday, all fans in attendance receive a 1977 World Series replica pin as McCracken takes ball 1. That's compliments of Chase Manhattan Bank. Tickets for the weekend available at the stadium through Ticketmaster, the clubhouse stores, and on the web. One of Wells' 3 strikeout victims back in the first inning. Count level at 1-1.
Quentin McCracken came out of the Colorado Rockies organization. In fact, they've spent a couple of years in the big leagues. And their bench coach was Jackie Moore. And Jackie Moore said he might be short in stature, but he is dynamite in a small package. Speaking of McCracken, he said in the offseason, he should be a Chippendale dancer. He is really built.
Good curveball. And that's pulled foul. Again, Wells has gone to a 1-2 count. And most of the time now when you go through major league locker rooms, you'd think you were in an NFL locker room because of the weight training guys really have those sculpted figures you expect from football players.
It's a power game now. Power pitching, power hitting.
Grounded foul at the plate. Boomer might not quite fit that category yet.
No,
we haven't gotten him into the weight room. David Wells, he still appreciates the Babe Ruth look, a little baggier in the pants than most. Got the socks up today. Cool enough, the umpires allow you to blow on the hand. Off the corner. 2-2.
You know, you're talking about the players in expansion. McCracken was a 4th outfielder with the Rockies. Didn't get much of a chance to play. You know, he was behind Larry Walker, Ellis Bergs, Dante Bichette, and only when one of those guys would get hurt would he get a chance.
Another foul ball. Devil Rays setting a record tonight for most pitches fouled off against David Wells. And they get to 2 strikes.
So with McCracken now setting an expansion record for most hits by a first-year player. He got his chance to play.
Down on strikes. For his first 2 at-bats, Posada will make the tag. And McCracken down on the curveball. First out in the 3rd inning. Gives us a chance to check out our New York City Marriott marquee pitching matchup. David Wells in his career. Look at those numbers at Yankee Stadium. Alvarez has done well 2-3-1. As a member of the Yankees, Wells is actually 19-6 here at the stadium. That's outside for a ball to Bobby Smith.
And the same thing applies to Bobby Smith as Quentin McCracken, because Smith was in the Atlanta organization as a 3rd baseman behind Chipper Jones, which is like a roadblock in AAA. Behind a young, outstanding star, you're not going to play 3rd base in that organization.
Kind of like being a shortstop here in the New York Yankee organization. David Wells has thrown as many pitches already with 1 out in the 3rd here as you expect him to throw through about 5 innings. Another 2-strike count. It's 1 and 2. The Devil Rays, you mentioned all the good at-bats they're putting on tonight. They're, in addition to not scoring a lot of runs, they're kind of a bad combination. They strike out more than all but 2 teams in the American League, and they don't walk very often. That's why Larry Rothschild has had to depend on pitching and defense to win the games they have won. There's a called strike 3. Smith down on strikes for the 2nd time. That's 5 for Wells. Struck out the side in the 1st, and now he's 2/3 of the way there here in the 3rd.
Changing the pattern. First time, remember, Smith struck out on a curveball. This time, fastball over the inside corner. That had some of the plate. The shadow hit it, and he's out of there.
It's one of those calls where part of the ball caught part of the plate. Some umpires they want the whole ball over the plate. Here's the veteran Fred McGriff. Up the middle. He's going to have a 2-out single.
There's the crime dog who leads the Devil Rays in both home runs and RBIs, and he's driven in 81 runs this year. That's 11 years in a row that he's driven in at least 80. That's the longest streak among active players.
Actually started his career with the New York Yankees. Fred McGriff did, and another in a long line of major league players coming out of Tampa, Florida. Here's Bubba Trammell. Takes low for a ball. Now McGriff enjoying, after those productive years with Atlanta, a nice chance to get back home and play in his home area. Changeup low, 2-0. Wells just not sharp tonight. I don't think the concentration is there. I think it's like a spring training game for him. He's only out of 14 hitters, 50% on first pitch strikes, and he's usually strike 1 on just about everyone. Knobloch will grab that one. Little broken bat line drive. So Wells pitches through the 3rd inning, a pair of strikeouts. He's got 5 on the night. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. The Yankees on the short end of a 2-0 score.
Go! She can do everything in a show, from design, direction,
Welcome back to the stadium. The Devil Rays lead it 2-0 as Alvarez drops a curveball in on Chad Curtis. You heard Chad Curtis' comments on our scorecard show. He was relieved to get that 10th home run. He was stuck on 9 since early August. And it was a record-breaking, a record-tying home run from a team standpoint. That's why he was eager to get it. The Yankees now have 9 players with at least 10 home runs or more. And O'Neill was the guy that was on the other team that holds the record as well.
The 1991 Cincinnati Reds.
And on the hands out the left, McCracken will have room and put it away, 1 down. There are the double-doubles, home runs and stolen bases. That ties a major league record with the 91 Reds as well. Paul O'Neill, a member of that select group as a member of the Yankees. He had 28 home runs with the Cincinnati Reds in 91. The Reds actually won the World Series in 90. They did not get there in 91. Brocious takes a strike. He also reached double figures. Nice night for cotton candy as usual. A lot of young fans at the ballpark. Outside, 1-1.
So O'Neill's been part of it on both clubs. He stole 12 bases that year back in 1991. Stolen more bases this year.
He's been a part of a lot of history with the Yankees and the Reds, because earlier this year, of course, we had Tom Browning, the ex-left-hand pitcher of Cincinnati Reds, who also pitched a perfect game like David Wells, and Paul O'Neill was the right fielder in both those games. Gets tonight off. He'll be in there tomorrow. He says he wants to play the weekend, get a few at-bats each game. Low, and it's 2-2. Joe Torre has done with most of his regulars is ask them whether you know, how much would you like to play tonight, how many at-bats, and most guys want to keep going out there, try to stay sharp. Strawberry and Raines trying to heal up from some minor injuries, and there's Wilson Alvarez again. The count's gone full.
You know, one reason why he's effective tonight, the Yankees have not gotten a hit, haven't had a man on base, because he's all over the place. It's hard to get a beat on him. You know, he's throwing pretty well. He's got a good fastball, but you can't really look in one area for it.
Fouled straight back. Out of 8 batters, 5 have gone to full counts. There's the wild card race, and even though Pedro Martinez has given up a couple of home runs, the Red Sox lead at 4-3 in the 5th. A win tonight would clinch a spot. They've already clinched a tie, but Toronto could still tie them and force a playoff on Monday if the Red Sox don't win another game. Foul out of play again. Reminds me, Kenny, you talk about being all over the place. When I was a kid, the Tigers had a hitter named Dick Wakefield, high expectations, and he struck out one time on a fastball up around the bill of the cap on a full count and came back slamming his bat down, said to his teammates, how can he pitch me up there on 3-2? I mean, you know, those guys that are all over the place are sometimes can be tough on hitters. Popped up in the infield. It's going to be 8 in a row retired by Alvarez as McGriff puts it away, 2 down.
See, but meanwhile, Alvarez is using up a lot of pitches, a lot of 3-2 counts, and you wouldn't expect him to be able to throw like this well into the 6th or 7th inning.
That's why you don't see as many complete games. Teams pay so much attention to the pitch count, and they wouldn't allow a pitcher like Alvarez to go too deep into the ball game. I don't think it's really that. At least it isn't up here, but it must be cool enough out in that bullpen. You see the players bundled up with jackets and a towel. That is Ramiro Mendoza. Not used to this kind of weather.
Well, maybe he's getting ready for the postseason. You know, it can cool down in the postseason.
Soho takes a pitch outside, and it's 2-0. Fellow Venezuelans going at it, and Wilson has gotten the best of it so far. Two and one. One great shortstop we failed to mention when we talked about Venezuela. Actually, a couple of them, Omar Vizquel and Chico Carrasquel. He was probably the original.
Yeah.
Former great shortstop of the White Sox, still doing their telecast on the Spanish network. Off-speed pitch hit out into center field where Randy Wynn is waiting. So Alvarez is perfect through the first 3. Speaking of perfect, Al Trautwig will be along to join Ken Singleton in the 4th inning. When we come back on MSG, Yankees down 2-0.
Lots of zeros on the board for the New York Yankees. Wilson Alvarez has them mesmerized through 3. Hi, everybody. I'm Al Trautwig along with Ken Singleton, and he looks very good, Mr. Alvarez.
Mesmerized and hypnotized. Yeah. He has a good fastball today.
David Wells had a real big-time struggle in the 2nd inning. And he faces Aaron Ledesma, one of the better hitters in the Tampa Bay Devil Rays lineup. He singled back in the 2nd inning and then later scored on Miguel Cairo's 2 RBI hit. Foul ball down the line. I'm a little surprised at the size of this crowd tonight, aren't you?
You mean Tampa Bay Devil Rays not drawing as some of the other clubs have? Maybe they're going to save it all for the final day when Joe DiMaggio comes, and tribute to Joe DiMaggio on the final game of the series, final day of the season, regular season.
Knobloch has it in the glove. 1 out here in the 4th. That'll bring up Mike Kelly. He walked for the 20th time this season, and it was the walks that were really strange for David Wells in the 2nd inning. To see him walk 2 guys in 1 inning is really weird.
Yeah, Kenny talking about the concentration. Kelly with the walk after fouling off several pitches. Swings through that one. But I believe the concentration factor was in play when Ledesma got a base hit on an 0-2 pitch in the 2nd. You just don't see that off of David Wells. Somebody get a hit on an 0-2 pitch.
This is an 0-1 pitch. And I'm going to venture a guess, Kenny. I'm going to say that David Wells is wearing his socks like that tonight because he knew that this was the anniversary of Babe's last game. Wouldn't you say? I mean, this guy is savvy enough about Yankee history.
Well, he knows the Babe backwards and forwards.
Now it's 1-2.
And he loves that memorabilia. Wasn't he the one who wanted Cal Ripken's jersey the other night in Baltimore?
A mid-game negotiation.
Mid-game. Like Cal needs any more money, right?
Foul back towards us. Just a little short of the booth. I was going to go for it.
I saw you. I was holding you back.
I was going to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's quite a fall down there to the seats, Al.
I wasn't going to go that far.
Oh, okay. All right.
There's something about catching a foul ball at a baseball game that never dies, no matter how old a baseball fan you are. Now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wells to go in game 1. And then I guess the best guess is Andy Pettitte. You never know. Joe's not letting the secrets out of the bag just yet. Line drive just over the head of Derek Jeter. And Curtis hustles it into second base. So Kelly's on with a 1-out single.
I think Kelly got that off the end of the bat and might have broken his bat, but he'll take it. Base hit. Watched it leap by Jeter on the very end. Up and just over. There's plenty of air beneath those feet.
He can jump.
Oh, man.
He's got all the skills.
Yeah, but his friend Alex Rodriguez says he has no game as far as basketball is concerned.
Is that right?
Maybe he can leap, but I guess the rest of it isn't there. But that's what you have to take A-Rod's word for that.
The hitter is Miguel Cairo, who's been the offensive difference in the game so far. 269 hitter with a single that scored 2. So, you know, Michael Kay and I have had this post-game throwing challenge, and we had some fun with Mike 2 nights ago. Last night our crew abandoned me and just exposed my weak throw as evidence that Mike actually beat me by about 10 feet. So it became a topic in the Yankee clubhouse. And it all started when Mike said he could throw a ball from home plate over the right field wall, which was ridiculous. You can't even come close.
Jeez, he said that?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Why I entertained it, I don't know. Another foul ball. 1-1. So Paul O'Neill got wind of this and came out for batting practice today and went right to home plate with a ball, and at what he says was 3/4 strength through a line drive off the right field wall. It's 314 feet.
He probably hadn't even warmed up.
He did. That could be the dent he put in the wall. We're not sure. Another foul ball. So he said no problem throwing the ball from home plate over the right field wall.
And Michael Kay, how far did he throw it?
Oh, I'm going to say maybe 120 feet.
You mean it went beyond first base?
Barely.
Okay.
I mean, I barely made the outfield grass, which was really weak. And he maybe went 10 feet beyond me.
See, you guys probably throw further than I can. I can't do it anymore. That's where it went first base.
O'Neill's got a good arm.
No kidding. He wasn't even warmed up and drilled the wall. How did that make you guys feel?
Weak.
When you think about it. One reason why this game looks so easy, because the players are very, very good at it.
2 outs as Bernie grabs it. Well, this is it, and 3 more for the 1998 season. The Delta Airlines schedule shows you when and where. Tomorrow at 7, Saturday 3:30, Sunday at 1. That's when our pregame coverage begins on MSG. And then a reminder, as the postseason begins on Tuesday, we will have extensive postgame coverage when the games are over on the networks after each and every game. Michael Kay, part of it, will be there with highlights, analysis. We'll be in the locker rooms. Extensive looks at all the key moments as the postseason gets underway.
The interviews and
all that stuff.
Oh man, that's great.
Well, you know what's fun about it is that with those games, everything is so magnified. Every pitch, every at bat, everything is
intensity.
Yeah.
Turned up a notch or 2 or 3.
Here's New Yorker John Flaherty with a man on and 2 outs. Yankees down 2-zip. Ground ball, Knobloch shuffles it to the icon, and that's it for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays here in the 4th. David Wells gives up a hit, but no damage. Chuck Knobloch making the play to his middle of the diamond buddy, Derek Jeter. They will be coming up in a moment, and Bernie's going to join them. Back at the stadium, Yankees looking for their first hit. And it'll be the top of the order because Wilson Alvarez has been perfect through 3. Chuck Knobloch looks at strike 1. Alvarez has been deep into many counts. At 110-48, the Yankees have equaled the franchise record for wins in a single season, tying the 1927 New York Yankees. The line drive caught. Yankees are 0 for 10. Join Bill Daughtry for the latest info as the Yankees prep for the postseason on the Daily News Baseball Playoff Preview. That's Sunday night at 11, only on MSG. The noise level goes up for Derek Jeter as he steps up with his .324 batting average, still looking for home run number 20. He struck out for the 117th time of the season. Alvarez has had 3 strikeouts so far. Little ground ball. Botched at short. Aaron Ledesma. And the Yankees have their first base runner.
Looked like it was going to be somewhat of a routine play. A ground ball, 1 hop, 2 hops back through the middle, and then right off the heel of the glove. This ball did. I thought it might have taken a bad hop on Ledesma, but it doesn't. He just doesn't come up with it. Off the heel of the glove, and that is a definite error on the shortstop.
It's on the scoreboard, E6. And Jeter is on, and at the plate is Bernie Williams. It's going to be real interesting to see how close it winds up being between Bernie and Mo Vaughn. For the first time tonight, Alvarez has to keep an eye on a base runner. Big swing by Bernie, 0-1.
Alvarez has had the good fastball tonight, right from the very beginning of the game. Mixed in a few breaking balls, a couple of changeups. Changeups not quite as effective.
Bernie lays off it. Bernie Williams and Mo Vaughn tied at 334. And Eric Davis, I mean, all he's done is come back from cancer. What a story that is at 326. 1-1 to Bernie Williams. Alvarez will make us wait.
So far tonight, we've been informed that Mo Vaughn is 2 for 3.
Ooh, the pressure is on.
And Bernie's 0 for 1. There's a look from the first base camera.
That's a brand new camera for us tonight. Ooh, Bernie, you got fooled by that pitch. Our director, Bill Webb, is always pushing the envelope. He knows no limits. Bernie gets called out on strikes. Alvarez pitched him inside, and now there are 2 away. 4th strikeout.
And a well-spotted fastball. Flaherty with the glove. About belt high, that's where he got the ball. And he gets the call. He just about didn't have to move the glove very much at all, did he? Right to the glove and call strike 3. I mentioned Alvarez's best pitch tonight has been his fastball.
Now it's Chili Davis hitting .281 with 3 home runs and 9 RBIs. And I bet Joe Torre would like to see him hit a few long balls before this regular season is over. Late on that pitch, 0-1.
Challenging type fastball, and it looked like Alvarez threw it as hard as he could for the middle of the plate.
The Yankees currently have a 21-game lead over the Boston Red Sox in the AL East. The widest margin of victory ever for the Yankees is 19.5 games, 1936. So it could be the biggest blowout in Yankee history. 0-2.
If I'm sitting on the bench, or the Yankee bench, I come up the hit, you know you're going to get the gas. You got to be ready. And so far, it's Alvarez is doing all the cooking.
He's having a good finish to his season, Wilson Alvarez. Last 4 or 5 starts. And the Tampa Bay Devil Rays are playing much better. They're 10-12 this month. That may not sound like much, but in comparison to their record over the rest of the season, it's darn good. Shane Spencer is on deck. Had a long fly ball in his first at bat. One and 2 with 2 outs and 1 on. And another one straight back. And I think the Yankee players will have as much fun with Shane Spencer's at bats as anybody else.
Well, they're fans, baseball fans, and they get to expect he's going to leave the park every time up.
He had an awesome batting practice. I mean, it's all Jeter and O'Neill were talking about after it was over. But right now it's Chili Davis's turn. The Yankees down 2-0 as they bat in the bottom of the 4th. And Shane Spencer will lead it off in the 5th. All that the Yankees have gotten so far is a base runner on an error. And there it is. Aaron Ledesma's miscue, and they did nothing with it. Well, on Tuesday, it may be the Yankees and the Rangers But there's, of course, the other Rangers, MSG's New York Rangers, and tickets are on sale now at the MSG box office, or call Ticketmaster at 212-307-7171. The Rangers played the Devils last night, looked pretty good, and a 1-0 win. David Wells to face the top of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays order. Brochus, barehand, in time. Good looking play. Randy Wynn is retired here in the top of the 5th.
He doesn't miss it very often, and I don't know if there's any third baseman better at making this play barehanded. Said it before, normally when the ball is moving, you're taught to use your gloves. Scott just has that uncanny ability to pick it barehanded, and he got a guy who can fly, and Randy Wynn, nice play.
He got a nice big high bounce to play. Here's Quentin McCracken, the left fielder of the Devil Rays, hitting .293. He has been struck out twice by David Wells. Wells started the game and got the crowd into it early by striking out the side, and then strangely struggled in the second inning.
He's had a quiet little feud going with Rick Reed, the home plate umpire. He looked in on that pitch. He thought, you know, that looked about knee high. He thought it should have been a strike.
Out to right, and Spencer's going to have to play it on a hop. So a 1-out base runner for Tampa Bay.
Probably the last inning we'll see David Wells, Al, and he's got his Babe Ruth styled uniform with the high socks. He normally doesn't feature that, and that was just a terrific piece that Jim Gallagher put together, and I believe you narrated on Japan today, and featuring Babe Ruth going over there on our scorecard show.
Yeah, that was really really fun to watch, and some of the footage in the film of old-time Japanese baseball was really great. Here's Bobby Smith, who'd love to do something he's never done in his life. Get a hit against the New York Yankees. He's 0 for 16. 0 for 16. Tampa Bay at 63 and 95 in their inaugural season, and they'd love to do something. They've never won a game in the Bronx. It was against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays in that series just over a week ago, I guess it was, when the Yankees played really subpar, and Joe Torre had a closed-door meeting after the game. And you look at the way the Yankees have responded since then, it tells you that they listen when Joe talks.
It was reported today how Joe has the stare that all the players are aware of if they've made a mistake. Homer Bush, I think, talked about the stare that you get from Joe. You know you've done something on the field that isn't right.
You don't want to get the stare.
I think in Joe's comments before the game, he's comfortable with just about everything except he'd like to see Jeff Nelson. You'd like to, as a manager, have confidence in the fact that your bullpen guys can come in and at least throw strikes. You know they're not always going to get them out. Last night was a step forward for Graham Lloyd. I think they still want to see a little more from him.
And another good look at Darren Holmes. 0-2. Wells softly throws over to Luis Sojo in for Tino Martinez tonight.
A lot is made, of course, of Shane Spencer and what he's done lately, but if the Yankees carry 10 pitchers, he figured into the postseason anyway. That's why they called him up on August 31st as, you know, maybe just another outfielder. Now he's thrust himself into the picture as maybe getting a lot of playing time.
Broken back ground ball. Brochus, Knobloch had a little problem getting off the throw. Luis Sojo, is he all right? Yeah, he's okay. Quite a tumble there at first base. What a great pickup, though, by Sojo on the throw.
Yeah, it looked like McCracken gave Knobloch a pretty good slide. Let's get a look at it. No, he's got time. Chuck's got time. He just didn't get enough on it. And Luis Sojo plays first base like a goalie, speaking of the Rangers. See, a lot of first basemen will stay on that. He made sure he came off the bag and got the ball. Knobloch had enough time. Brochus from underneath gives it to him. See, McCracken's not even in your picture, but I think because he had to reach toward the outfield to get the throw, he couldn't get enough on it going the other way.
So on the fielder's choice, Bobby Smith is at first base. McCracken retired. And Luis is able to smile through it. So he's back and at his job okay. Hitter is Fred McGriff. He has grounded out and singled, left stranded in the third. Wells is really taking his time too, Jim, you know.
It's going to be, we mentioned, going to be his last inning, and I think he'd like to finish off feeling good about all of his pitches. Whether he gets hit or not is another thing. Mike Buddy, looks like Mike will come in and pitch at least the 6th inning. Yankees sent a couple of their players already down to their camp in Tampa for a little fall instruction. Mike Jerzenbeck.
Joe said that was just to make room in the clubhouse. It was getting crowded in there.
Joe Borowski got a chance to go home at the end of the season.
Joe was meditating, maybe trying to envision what Tuesday night will be like. Boy, you can't imagine how much different it's going to be. This atmosphere compared to Tuesday night at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx.
It'll be an 8 o'clock start, and the noise level here 6:30 or 7 o'clock will already be something like it was during the early middle part of the season when the Yankees were on their hot run. I think all the fans now even sense this is just fall training. This is just tune-up time.
And Wells with another walk. Most strange.
That's 2 walks he's issued on just 4 pitches. And he mentioned July 26th, he had 3 walks against the White Sox. That's the last game he's at. Normally, if a pitcher averages 3 walks for 9 innings, you say that's pretty good. But with Wells, you don't expect 3 walks a month.
Very strange. Fouled straight back. Now, Jim, in his last start, in 5 1/3, he gave up 11 hits and 5 runs. The start before that, 7 hits and 5 runs. 6 hits and 4 runs. And now this tonight. Is there any danger sign here from David Wells or not?
There isn't for me. I mean, Mel Stottlemyre would certainly know better as far as his stuff, but I just think once the Yankees have this thing wrapped up, your whole mindset is different. And you know how David his concentration tends to wane from time to time. These games just don't mean as much anymore once they've clinched. You know, the individual thing, the Cy Young, as much as we made it, he and David Cone having a shot at it, I don't think it meant as much to them as maybe to the media. Roger Clemens has a pretty good hold on it right now. It would have taken a really big effort by Wells tonight to stay in the picture.
Two on, 2 out. That's a strike 1 and 2.
See, that was a changeup. Even his pitching pattern might not be the same tonight as it would be next Tuesday. He just wants to make sure he uses all of his pitches and feels good about all. We've seen him throw some good curves, some good cutters.
Tonight he has equaled the total number of walks in his previous 10 starts. Ground ball to Brocious. He makes the tag, and the top of the 5th is over. And David Wells maybe has thrown his last pitch until Tuesday night, when that'll be a big one. Shane Spencer, the batter against Wilson Alvarez. Man, has this guy had a 48-hour stretch or what? And he hit maybe the longest ball of the game in his last at bat. It wasn't out, but he just missed it. He's hitting .407 with 7 home runs and 18 RBIs. Ground ball, beautiful play at third base. Smith across and in time. Spencer is 0 for 2. This is David Wells checking out. He's back in the clubhouse already. That means Mike Buddy will come in, and that's it. Whatever David Wells wanted to work on tonight is over, and the next time we see him will be on Tuesday night in Game 1. Doesn't seem totally thrilled with the way it went.
Not happy about the results. Doesn't have a chance to pick up a win, but 5 innings worth of work, almost 100 pitches.
Now it's up to Jorge Posada. Yankees down 2-0. Trying to get win number 111. Jim, you know what a technical director does. He's the guy who sits next to our director and executes his orders as he barks them out.
And Bill Webb can bark them out, right?
With ferocity. So he's got this like Star Trek board that sits in front of him. It's got all buttons and lights and stuff like that. And Rich Basile is our technical director and has been for much of the season. However, after tonight, he's bailing out on us.
Really?
Yeah. So like if Bill Webb says take camera 9, this is what it would look like. That's 9. And then he would say take camera 8. And that's 8. And he would want to take camera 4 right before Wilson Alvarez delivers the pitch. Now the high camera, which Bill Webb uses as a safety device, the moment the ball is hit, he says take 2. And that's 2.
You could direct from up here, couldn't you?
I did it for a little bit last week. It's nerve-wracking. Take 4. But what you're supposed to do is say take 2 after you say ready 2. And that's into the seats. So ready 6, take 6. That would be the shot of Fred McGriff.
You got to know your math in that business, don't you? You got to know how to count.
Is there a, can we take 10? Is there a 10? Oh, that's camera 10 down the first baseline.
Never ends.
So that's the unique shot of this new camera. Ready 5, take 5. Rich Basile, if you notice, hasn't made one mistake yet. Because if he does, Bill Webb just leans over and whacks him on the side of the head. I didn't say take 4. There it goes back to the seat. So I'll turn that job back over to them. But you get an idea.
Yeah.
So anyway, Rich, thanks for everything you did this season. And thanks for bailing out on us for the last 3 games. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Jorge Posada. There's going to be this weekend an outstanding article in the New York Times Magazine on Sunday, a look at the Yankees and especially focusing on George Steinbrenner. And Jorge Posada is retired. 2 outs. Jorge's in the article, and it talks about how Brian Cashman deals with George Steinbrenner, how they've, talked about keeping certain players after consulting with the farm system. Jorge was a player that they absolutely coveted for years, and the cover of the magazine is pretty neat. They got a bunch of the Yankees to sign a baseball to George.
Really?
And Scott Brocious, for example, said, dear boss, thanks for rescuing me off the scrap pile. Scott Brocious. The hitter's Chad Curtis. Well, that's what Curtis has said about George Steinbrenner, too. Thanks for rescuing me from the scrap heap.
Yeah, the Yankees have done a good job of that with, I don't think Scott Brocious, he said that facetiously. He wasn't really on the scrap heap. He was a regular everyday player. Now, Chad Curtis, different story. But the Yankees, in talking with some of the scouts before the game tonight, they do a good job of keeping their position players in their organization. Spencer, Figa, Leday, they've been around for 7 or 8 years. A lot of organizations let their position players go, and then you fill in your pitching staff with free agents, use some of your top pitching prospects for trades. Ouch.
Oh, that had a smart. Alvarez hits Curtis, and the Yankees have a 2-out base runner.
As Joe Torre was talking about the Spencer/Curtis situation, he said, Curtis is a whole different dimension for us, and that I look at that getting hit by a pitch. The Yankees do not want Chad Curtis's legs damaged going into division series. Yeah, he gives them speed and versatility in the outfield as well as on the bases. Spencer is more of a bat, just an average runner and an average fielder.
So now it's Scott Brocious with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Brocious at .302 with 19 home runs and 96 RBIs. Chad Curtis seems to be fine. Time now for the Aflac Trivia Quiz, I believe. Who was the last player to drive in 100 runs from the 7, 8, and 9 spots in the order?
If fans were watching last night, we tipped them off on the answer.
We'll have the answer in a short while. No doubt, though, it is an extreme luxury for the Yankees to be able to send a guy like Scott Brocious in this position. Tonight he's hitting 8th. Alvarez on a 2-0 count. He's thrown a lot of pitches. He's been deep in many. Another foul ball.
And you mentioned Brocious' numbers. Not that Randy Johnson needs any help, but that's a big difference, I think, when pitchers go to the National League. They got the pitcher hitting down there. The bottom third of the National League batting orders are not as potent. You can breeze through the bottom third there sometimes in, 8, 9 pitches. And over here, when you've got Brocious hitting down the bottom of the order, Posada, that's like pitching to the heart of the order on a lot of teams.
Another foul ball. Meanwhile, I don't know how Randy Johnson could look his Seattle Mariner teammates square in the eye. I mean, that he bailed out on them.
What a difference between what he did and the way he approached things and Mo Vaughn without a contract. And Lou Piniella addressed it. He knew in the offseason Randy Johnson mentally was not going to be the pitcher that they wanted. He let the contract thing really affect the effort that he gave the Mariners early in the year.
For $6 million, he gave them nothing. I mean, he had absolutely no loyalty whatsoever. That's really bad. Line drive deep to the corner and left. Moving over is McCracken. Chad Curtis checks in with Willie Randolph, and he says, hold up. Brocious is in with a double. At first, the green light was on. First hit of the ball game for the Yankees.
And a typical Scott Brocious hit off the newly painted left field wall. Down in the corner, McCracken plays it well, so Willie Randolph has to hold up Chad Curtis. Yeah, they wanted inside. That's where it was, but Brocious able to turn on it.
So Scott Brocious just misses on a chance to record his 97th RBI. Willie Randolph at first said, go ahead, and then the Devil Rays got the ball in quickly. You see Luis Sojo sharing the lighter side of the moment with Wilson Alvarez. So now 2 in scoring position for Sojo, who flied to center field in his only at bat. This gets the attention of the fans, and it's strike 1. Luis at 227, but he never really had a stretch of consistent play to get himself going. Ground ball played by McGriff, barely. And the Yankees strand 2, but get their first hit through 5. It's 2-0 Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Mike Buddy on his way in. I'm on my way out. Ken Singleton rejoins Jim Cott after Bill Daughtry tells you this.
Yes, indeed, Al. We got a wild card race in the National League. The Giants now just a game behind the Cubs and the New York Mets. Giants with a 6-2 win this afternoon over the Pittsburgh Pirates at 3Com Park. Pitcher getting into the act. Russ Ortiz helping his own cause in a big way. That is Goodwood in the bottom of the second, 2-run shot. His first Major League home run puts the Giants up 3-0. Then here's a guy who's used to hitting home runs. Joe Carter in the bottom of the 6th. Joe with a solo shot, a leadoff shot over the left field wall. That made it 4-1. The Giants now just one game back in that National League wild card race. Now, the New York Mets, they close the season in Atlanta. Bruce Chen will start the final regular season series of the year against Rick Reed tomorrow night at 7:30. Mark McGwire, well, he's still looking for number 66. Here he is in the third inning. Javier Vasquez with the curveball. It freezes Big Red. He walks away. Cardinals lead this ball game 3-2. That game in the fourth at Busch Stadium. We'll tell you about tonight's Late Show with Marv right after these messages. Correction on that Cardinal score. Tie game now in the bottom of the third. 3-3 Cards and Expos. Coming up tonight on the Late Show with Marv Albert right here at the National Finance Sports Desk. We'll take another look at that wild card picture. Of course, the New York Yankees going for 111 and some anthem singers down at the Meadowlands on the late edition of Sports Desk Now. Back out to Yankee Stadium.
Thank you very much, Bill.
Balk. I committed a balk.
2-0, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Leading Ken Singleton back now, joining Jim Cott. And Wilson Alvarez had pretty good fastball tonight, hadn't he?
You know, the stuff has always been there. You know, you mentioned he pitched no-hitter in 1991, his second start. But despite all the full counts, his control has been pretty good when he's needed it tonight.
Here is Mike Buddy coming out of the Yankee bullpen. He's made a couple of starts this year. And he'll face Aaron Ledesma, Tampa Bay's shortstop, who singled and scored in the second inning. Then he popped out. 1 for 2 on the day. Or the evening, I should say. Pitch is low outside, ball one. Mike Buddy, sinker, slider type pitcher. Ledesma made the error that allowed the Yankees to get their first base runner.
Ouch. Jarred Jorge Posada a little bit right there. Mike Buddy might go down, join Jerzembeck and Bradley at the mini camp in Tampa. You see that spin the mask around of Posada after tonight's game.
They were sent down following last night's ball game. Good slider in for a call strike.
Yeah, even in their pregame preparation, Kenny, the Yankees are starting to, to act like it's postseason time. Normally, about 4:30, the team comes out and they stretch in groups. They get like the extra man, and they'll go down the right field line. But you can kind of tell this last weekend now that it's sort of almost like a team prepares for opening day. Tino will be back in there tomorrow night on his great streak of knocking in runs.
I think they played some of their best baseball in the last 3 weeks to a month, the last few days here. That's 2-2 on Ledesma.
It's kind of like when they broke camp in the spring, we kiddingly said this team could go 162-0 the way they were playing. Of course, they got off to that rocky start.
Another pitch fouled at the plate. The count will remain 2-2 on Ledesma. I think he got part of his back foot or his right foot.
And they could know by tonight, if the Rangers win and the Angels lose, they could know who their opponent is going to be for sure. And then with all the scouting information they have, they can really zero in on who they'd like to play against the Rangers pitcher.
Off the end of the bat, and also they could, pretty much figure out who the Rangers might be pitching against them. And even the players would know, here's who we're going to see in the first game.
And they'll go to the video.
Yeah,
they'll go to the video and check out Rick Helling or Todd Stottlemyre, whoever it is, and try to prepare for their at-bats against him.
Jam shot, fly ball into center field for Bernie Williams. Ledesma fouled off a few pitches, but still can't get one to handle, and he flies out to center. One down. There's Wilson Alvarez. A little nervous, but he's ahead in the ball game 2-0. 5 innings pitch, only 1 hit allowed. 6 strikeouts, no walks. David Wells, the Boomers' night is finished. 5 innings, 5 hits, a couple of earned runs. He struck out 5 and walked 3. There is Mike Kelly, who has not been retired tonight. The right fielder has walked and singled. Tampa Bay, unlike a lot of expansion teams, will not lose 100 games this year in their initial season. Good slider for a strike, 1-1. They've already won 63. And I think that's one thing that every expansion team in their first year tries to avoid, losing 100. Of course, I was around for the, I remember the 62 Mets. Kelly swings and misses. And they went way over 100. They lost 120 games. And they were something to watch. They were last in fielding, last in pitching, and last in hitting. 1-2 pitch, little looper towards right field. Shane Spencer moving over towards the gap and makes the catch, and is 2 down. Of course, expansion was different in those days because you could only pick from within your own league. And nowadays, Tampa Bay and both Arizona and Tampa Bay got to choose from all of Major League Baseball.
Plus, you didn't go out and sign free agents. You put a whole expansion team together for $2.5 million in those days. Now, Devil Rays go out and sign a pitcher like Alvarez and, you know, pay him twice that much for 1 year, one player.
Here's Miguel Cairo. Besides the fact, paying about $130 million just to get in the league.
You mentioned the 62 Mets, and I brought up his name last night. The late Richie Ashburn was a part of that team, and he said he'll never forget after the season, the last loss, Casey Stengel, as they came into clubhouse, slapped them all on the back and said, "Keep your head up, guys. No one guy's responsible for this. It was a team effort."
Cat is 0-2 on Cairo. In fact, Richie Ashburn was the most valuable player of that 1962 team. He hit over 300, and his reaction was the most valuable player of what?
Like Don Zimmer was with that team for about 10 days or 2 weeks early in the 62 season.
He went on to Cincinnati from there. Count is 0-2 on Cairo with 2 outs and nobody on, make it 1-2. Guess that second pitch was a ball. That is in the dirt. Scoreboard shows 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Scoreboard also shows, Kenny, that the Red Sox have increased their lead to 9-5 against the Baltimore Orioles. And it's like Nomar Garcia-Parra single-handedly said that we're going to get this team there. He's hit 2 home runs tonight, 2 solo shots. Mo Vaughn with a couple knocks.
Cairo won't chase. Some of the Boston Red Sox got ahead of themselves with Darren Lewis a couple of days ago. It'd be great when we do it. Pitches foul back. Of course, in Boston, you better do it after saying that.
Now slowly the pairings are coming together. We'll know what the matchups will be next Tuesday night. The National League wild card, the race most in doubt.
Pitch hit in the air to left field, and Chad Curtis. So each one of the Yankee outfielders gets a put out here at the top of the 6th inning. Mike Bunny. Scoreless inning for Tampa Bay. 2-0 Rays.
The first digital.
New York Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. The Yankees haven't been able to do much with Wilson Alvarez. Just 1 hit. He's hit a batter. And 1 Yankees reached on an error, and that has been it. Chuck Knobloch's going to lead it off. Slide to center, line to short, 0 for 2. Jeter and Williams to follow here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. That first fastball is up high for ball 1. Knobloch among the league leaders in runs scored, 115. Jeter 123. So they have been scoring at quite a rapid clip, but nothing tonight for the Yankees so far. This pitch is up high, ball 2, 2-0.
Kenny, that total, if you add Jeter and Knobloch up with runs scored, and you talked about this in the spring, how many they might score. They're 1 behind Alex Rodriguez and Ken Griffey Jr. for the top total in the league. They've scored 238. Griffey and Rodriguez 239.
Knobloch trying to get himself on here. The count is 3 balls and no strikes.
Major league leaders down in Houston, the Killer Bees, Biggio and Bagwell, they've scored 244 as a tandem.
See what Biggio has done? It's only the 2nd player in like this century to do 50 doubles and 50 stolen bases. That's high, ball 4, and Knobloch has drawn a walk. Leadoff walk here to 6th inning. First walk allowed by Wilson Alvarez tonight. Okay, tomorrow, 7:35, the Yankees take on the Devil Rays. Then at 4:05 on Saturday, Chase Manhattan presents 1977 World Series Pin Day. Then on Sunday, New York Times presents Fan Appreciation Day, honoring Joe DiMaggio. That's at Sunday, 1:35. There are all your ticket outlets. As Jeter steps in, we mentioned, Kitty, that he has scored 123 runs. That's one behind Ray Durham of the White Sox, who has taken over the league lead. Jeter bouncing ball foul behind Willie Randolph.
Yeah, and even though Alvarez has had a great game right now, that is his first walk, but with all the high pitch counts earlier in the ball game, he doesn't have a complete game this year. Chances are the Devil Rays are still going to have to bring their bullpen in. Actually, one guy who's done a good job for him, we might see, is ex-Yankee Jim Messier.
Good popping fastball in for strike 2. Jeter has struck out, reached on an error by Ledesma at short. Pretty good numbers against Wilson Alvarez. And Bernie Williams will come out. He'll be on deck to follow Jeter. Fastball, a good cut. Count remains 0-2. Yankees trying to win their 111th game, which would tie the 1954 Cleveland Indians for the all-time American League record for victories in a season. Of course, those Indians featured players like Rapid Robert Feller, Larry Doby, Al Rosen. Jeter, line drive, right field, base hit. Knobloch's going to turn at second and head for third. The throw by Kelly will be late. And the Yankees have runners on the corners and nobody out here in the bottom of the 6th. Mike Kelly has a pretty good arm out there in right field, and Knobloch challenged it.
Here is a typical Derek Jeter at bat. 2 strikes, you see, by design. He took that ball the other way. His 199th hit of the year put the Yankees in good position to get back in this ball game. And you know, in the opposition dugouts, there's the strong arm of Kelly you were talking about. They're probably saying, here they come. You hold them down for a while. Nice base running by Knobloch. Didn't need the coach. Quick checked where the ball was and made his own judgment.
He's at third base. Jeter's at first. And Bernie Williams is at the plate. The Yankees with their best run-scoring opportunity of the night. The hit by Jeter was only their second of the evening. Grotius had doubled last inning. That is ball 1 from Alvarez. They were speaking of that 54 Indian team. We're going to have a feature on our pregame show tomorrow. The Yankees scorecard on those 1954 Cleveland Indians. And we mentioned Bob Feller. Here's something from him. Larry Doby, who went to the Hall of Fame this year. Bernie Williams ahead on the count, and Wilson Alvarez slowing things down. That's one thing Bernie will do. When he feels that the pitcher's taking too much time, he will step out. That is hard-throwing Esteban Yan in the bullpen, getting ready in a hurry for the Devil Rays. Breaking ball, and it misses inside. 2 balls and no strikes. Here's a real hitter's count.
Yeah, you notice most of Alvarez's pitches now, they've lost a little sting, and they're getting up in the strike zone. All a result of the high number of pitches he had to throw in the first 5 innings.
Chili Davis would be next. That is low, ball 3. Alvarez 1 pitch away from dealing himself a real bad hand here at the bottom of the 6th. Frank Howard up off the bench shouting encouragement out to the pitcher or the infielders.
Bernie took a long look at Willie Randolph. Don't know how often he likes to hit 3-0 or if he does, but he, I think, has a green light if he wants to.
Right there, right back through the middle. The Yankees are on the scoreboard. Bernie Williams delivers Knobloch with a single to center field. It is now 2-1 Devil Rays. The leadoff walk comes in to score. Yeah, Alvarez had not walked anybody tonight until then.
Well, he likes to. He took that 3-0 pitch, and I mean, that jumped off his bat. Alvarez barely had room to turn his body and avoid it. How close this ball comes to hitting Alvarez. Ooh. Did the limbo to get out of the way of that one. And with Mo Vaughn getting a couple hits up in Boston, I think Bernie now pulls back to close to a neck-and-neck situation in the batting race.
Well, Bernie caused a meeting at the mound as Knobloch will sit down and rest after scoring a run. For him, his 116th of the year. Plenty of speed on the bases with Jeter at second and Williams at first. And here's Chili Davis. Struck out swinging in the second, then again in the fourth. And Chili, if I'm up there looking for one thing, it's the fastball, because Alvarez has kind of poured it by him thus far tonight. But he threw him a changeup, and it's down low, ball one.
Doing him a favor. I just think right now John Flaherty looking for some combination of pitches, get Alvarez back on track. But if there's ever a situation where Chili Davis could start catching up with a fastball, it would be right here. This fastball is not the same as it was in the first couple innings.
Two balls, no strikes. Struggled a bit last inning, did Alvarez. He's got Shane Spencer on deck. This inning, a walk, and then back-to-back singles. Two balls and a strike. A challenging fastball.
Yeah, and the little game within the game as far as the Yankees are concerned, that's what Joe Torre will look at. There's a hitter's count. He knows the fastball's coming. It was in a pretty good zone, and Chili's timing is just not there, not able to connect.
You got to still look for it. This one's upstairs. 3 balls and a strike. Once again, Alvarez a pitch away from loading the bases with nobody out. Larry Rothschild getting a little antsy in that dugout. He and his pitching coach Rick Williams. Pitch is fouled back. And the count will run full on Chili Davis.
You see again, you can see the body language and the expression. Chili Davis, as if to say, last year I was hammering those pitches out of the ballpark. Just late enough to take a hittable pitch in a 3-1 situation and foul it off and not drive it.
Watch the runners. Jeter at second, Williams at first. Will they be off and running, trying to stay out of a possibility of a double play? Maybe not. Chili has struck out twice. There they go, and it's high for ball 4. The bases are loaded.
If I'm Shane Spencer, I run up to the batter's box. Hurry up and hope you get to hit against a left-hander before they change their mind and bring in Esteban Yan.
Bases loaded. Nobody out. At first base, we're going to get a pinch runner for Chili Davis. It's going to be the speedy Homer Bush. So Chili Davis through for the evening. And this is about as speedy as the Yankees can get on the bases.
With Shane Spencer the way he's hit lately, you don't really need that speed. You can trot, you can score.
Well, a walk has loaded the bases. Look for that first pitch right there. Fouled off to the right. Shane Spencer. Strong young man from California. Jeter, Williams, and Bush. Spencer at the plate. Tried to bring some or all of them home. Yankees down by a run with nobody out here in the bottom of the sixth. Lays off the high fastball. The count is 1-1. Alvarez has been tough the last part of the season. Those numbers indicate that this is where he starts throwing up roadblocks. Changeup is hit high and deep to right center field. Wynn is running. This one is gone. A grand slam home run for Shane Spencer. To 2 Yankees. He's been unbelievable. And it didn't look like he hit it that well, and it got out of the park with something to spare in right center.
Looked like an off-speed pitch or something, down and away. But he hit it up and away. His 6th home run in the month of September, the Yankees' 8th grand slam of the year. Spencer has 2 of them. Again, the short, compact, powerful swing. He's been hitting a lot of fastballs on the inner half, but he showed you he can go the opposite way as well. And man, has he become a hero here. They called him out again. Here's a young man played AAA most of the year, has already taken 2 curtain calls this week.
Shane with the curtain call.
Come back, Shane.
Yes. The crowd to their feet, much in the way that Alan Ladd did back in the 50s.
When you think of the month of September that he's had, Kenny, not just this week, start adding up the numbers.
That's Jorge Posada with a shot down the right field line, and he's going to hold himself to a single. He hit it so hard as Mike Kelly recovers.
You look over the Tampa Bay statistics sheet, for example, and Shane Spencer now has 8 home runs and 22 RBIs. There's a lot of guys playing every day for Tampa Bay, played almost all year, and don't have much better than that production. I mean, if you compute what he's done, that shy little grin, I mean, it'll add up to about 55 home runs and a couple hundred RBIs the way he's done in September.
Here's Chad Curtis. And he takes a fastball up high from Esteban Yan out of the Orioles organization. And a lot of people feel that this might be one of the problems they had this year in their bullpen, because they let him get away in the draft. They wanted to protect him. Held him out there for a round, and he got away. Look out, up and in. Curtis has already been hit once tonight by Alvarez. 0 for 1. I still get those hitters flashbacks when I see that. That one's out of the strike zone too. The count goes to 3 balls and no strikes. Esteban Yan was thought of very highly in Baltimore because he has a good fastball, a lot of movement on it. There's a strike, a get it over fastball, and the count goes to 3-1.
Yeah, he, along with Jim Messier, when you talk to the Tampa Bay coaches, they've been doing the best job of all the relievers coming out of that bullpen.
This is his 63rd appearance, so he's been out of there quite often. And there's ball 4 to Chad Curtis. Still nobody out here for the Yankees in the bottom of the 6th. Yan has come on and give up a single and now a walk. And Scott Brocious will get a chance. He doubled last time up. His 33rd two-base hit of the year, doubled to the corner in left field. Yankees have turned a 2-run deficit into a 3-run lead with 5 runs here in the 6th inning. Posada at second, Curtis at first, and Brocious takes a pitch right in there for a called strike.
Scott's had a lot of opportunities to up that RBI total to get to 100. Pretty good one here. Hard thrower, and he's given up 11 home runs. He is vulnerable to the long ball.
That's a ball and a strike. It's the 28th time the Yankees have scored 5 or more runs in an inning. So when you see the thunder, the lightning is coming.
And they're going to up their bat around number again also this inning.
That's up high, ball 2, 2-1. Who was the last player to drive in 100 runs from the 7th, 8th, and 9th spots in the order? This was the answer to our Aflac trivia quiz. Butch Hobson, 106 runs batted in for the Boston Red Sox in 1977. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Brocious.
And as those of you that missed last night's game, we pointed out Butch Hobson was playing under Don Zimmer that year, Zim managing the Red Sox.
And I think most of the time Hobson batted ninth because they had players like Carlton Fisk and Boomer Scott and
Jim Rice
and Fred Lynn and
couldn't hit any higher than that in that lineup.
Rick Burleson. Yeah, Zim was happy to send those guys out there. Pitch is fouled back.
Now if the Yankees, looks like Mike Buddy might get a chance to pitch the 7th, but if the Yankees piece the last 2 together with their #1 bullpen guys and polish it off, this will be a great night and a good way to win the 111th.
Bouncing ball to third for Smith. He has a strong arm. The throw to first is in time, and they get a double play. Nicely turned by Bobby Smith, the third baseman.
Yeah, we do see that strong arm. Quick taps the bag and then uses it for some leverage. And gets Brocious by a couple of strides. Yeah, the Devil Rays, as we pointed out, second only to the Orioles in fielding in the American League.
And the Yankees have indeed batted around here in the bottom of the 6th inning as Luis Sojo comes to the plate. Drive to right field. Coming on is Kelly. He has it. And the Yankees will be retired here in the 6th inning. But Shane Spencer has done it again. A grand slam home run gave the Yankees a 5-2 lead. We're heading to the 7th. Yankees on top by 3. Baseball is brought to you in part by Hertz. For business, for pleasure, nobody does it exactly like Hertz. Top of the 7th inning. Yankees now up by 3. Mike Buddy in for his 2nd inning, and he faces John Flaherty, who will lead it off. The Devil Rays here in the 7th inning. 0 for 2 on the evening, and Beach ball. Yeah, it is past Labor Day. Public beaches are closed now, aren't they? Oh. That's going to be like the Devil Ray hopes in the bottom of the sixth, somewhat deflated in a minute here. Flaherty and then Wynn and McCracken for the Rays. That pitch is inside. In fact, they don't like to be called the Rays. They want to be known as the Devil Rays. And the fans out there might be thinking, what is a Devil Ray? High fly ball to center field. Bernie Williams retreating almost to the warning track. He's going to turn, does get to the track and makes the catch. And that's the 4th fly ball out thrown by Mike Buddy, who's basically a ground ball pitcher.
One thing it is an unusual name for a baseball team, which we've seen in the last few years with expansion.
Well,
when you think of the Tigers and the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Indians,
Giants, yeah.
and then along come the Devil Rays. It's like Mel Stottlemyre's going to get a couple relief pitchers up to come in the 8th.
Switch hitting Randy Wynn takes a fastball right down the middle in there for a call strike.
It's one of those sharp-pronged fishes down there that swim around in the Gulf, isn't it?
You see the stingray, but a Devil Ray is much, much larger. In fact, I think they can get up to 2,400 pounds. There's a Devil Ray box score, which right now is up to 2 runs on 5 hits. Wynn with plenty of speed. Fouls one back. And that'll run the count to a ball and 2 strikes. In their home field at Tropicana Field, the Devil Rays play on artificial surface. It's an indoor stadium. And you have to have a lot of speed in your outfield with the artificial surface, and the Devil Rays do have that. Wynn on a slider, swings and misses, and that's strike 3. Mike Buddy picks up his first strikeout.
Mike Buddy, one more out, his night might be over. Good movement on that pitch. Could pick up another win here in his big league career.
And with 2 outs and nobody on, Buddy will face Quentin McCracken.
Mike's been the guy that in the 3 wins he's picked up, he's always the guy that seems to come in and the Yankees score a bunch of runs. He's in a good spot.
Good sinker. Pulled foul by McCracken, strike 1. Yeah, Buddy came up, first time he came up, I think he picked up a couple of wins real quick in that fashion. The Yankees were trailing when he came in, and by the time he had thrown 1 inning, gone back out there again, the Yankees had scored and they had to leave. McCracken, like Wynn, a switch hitter with speed. Nice changeup, swung on and missed. Strike 2, 0-2.
And wouldn't it be something if the Yankees hang on and win this game? Looks like Graham Lloyd's going to get another opportunity tonight, and they win their 111th game, all-time franchise record. And as the years roll by and you look back and you say, well, the heroes were Mike Buddy and Shane Spencer, 2 guys who were in the minor leagues most of the year.
McCracken deep in the hole, 0-2. Influence pitch is outside, a ball and 2 strikes. A Devil Ray is found in the waters of the Gulf of Mexico and in the Atlantic coast. Just missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. They can be up to 23 feet long and weigh, as I said, 2,400 pounds. It doesn't sound like you want to be swimming and run into one of those things.
Sounds like a day's work hauling one of those in.
Says they are massive but gentle creatures.
That's why they got Frank Howard coaching for them.
Fouled off. And also it says, well, maybe not. They are harmless to humans, but they might scare the heck out of you. So the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. McCracken has spoiled a number of pitches here to stay alive after falling behind, no balls and 2 strikes. Sinker loops it into left field. It's going to be in there for extra bases. McCracken turns at first, will head to second as Chad Curtis digs it out of the corner. And the Devil Rays get a 2-out double and have a runner in scoring position for Bobby Smith. So Mike Buddy gives up his first hit. And it's a 2-out double to McCracken. And here is Smith, who has struck out twice and reached on the fielder's choice.
We're talking about baseball history being made at the stadium if the Yankees win up in Fenway, where the Red Sox are 3 outs away from clinching the wild card berth. Dennis Eckersley has come in for the 1,070th time. That ties Hoyt Wilhelm, the all-time major league appearance record. Red Sox lead that 9-6. They are 3 outs away from playing the Cleveland Indians next Tuesday night.
There's McCracken out at second with his second hit of the night. 2 balls and no strikes on Bobby Smith. Now, I've read something about Hoyt Wilhelm. He pitched about 20 years at knuckleballer. In his first major league at bat, he hit a home run, and he never hit another one.
Started strong. Yeah.
2-0 pitch to Bobby Smith, and he hits a one-hopper to Jeter. This should do it. The throw to first is on the money. Devil Rays are retired in the top half of the 7th inning. We're headed to the 7th inning stretch here at the stadium. The Yankees lead 5-2.
I should have listened to my mother.
When you're lost.
Yoo-Hoo is proud to return as the sponsor of the New York Yankees in 1998. Yoo-Hoo, America's #1 chocolate drink. The Yankees and Yoo-Hoo, 75 years of the best of New York.
5-2 Yankees, bottom of the 7th inning. Here's a look at the National Finance Corporation Skycam. National Finance Corporation, homeowners, lower your monthly payments. Apply by phone, 1-800-LOAN-NFC. Chuck Knobloch got it started last inning with a leadoff walk. That might have been an indication that big things are going to happen. The Yankees scored all of their runs last inning. 5 times. The beach ball is back. Fans have been having a ball tonight, haven't they, after the last inning?
And the players. And now with Knobloch and Jeter each scoring a run, depending on what Rodriguez and Griffey do, they take over the American League lead as a duo. In fact, Derek Jeter, in his first 3 seasons in the major leagues, has scored more runs as a shortstop than any shortstop in major league history. I mean, that is some feat.
Been some great shortstops in this game. Knobloch with a grounder to second. Backhanded by Cairo, who will throw him out. 1 down. Sure-handed Miguel Cairo. Jeter just heard what you said, Kitty. Says I only need 1 bat, and gave I guess his back up to that young lady.
Ever since he's come up, he's had a nice habit, a routine of conversing with the young fans right around the first base dugout. And that young lady's got a Derek Jeter bat. She can't believe it.
She's not
don't let it go too far away.
It's heavy. You see, swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Jeter, who singled, helped set up the 5-run inning. So everybody's going to get a chance to hold it. Even those Jeter fans right there.
They all got Jeter jerseys on.
He's not giving it back. Inside, a ball and a strike.
As many Michael Jordan jerseys as you see around the country, you are gradually seeing and going to see more Yankee jerseys with number 2 on the back. See a lot of them around the city already, of course.
I think the only time you get to hold the bat during the game is on bat day. Well, not even then. You get certificates. So she'll get it back after the game.
Yeah, you saw the card in the usher's hand with the name of the young lady, and it'll be kept in a safe place for her. When the game's over, she can retrieve it.
2-2 on Derek Jeter. Look, woo, that went right through him. I don't know how it didn't hit him.
Derek talks about his footwork and watch his lead foot. See, he steps in. He immediately steps in. So any pitch a little bit off the edge, he has to do the limbo. It takes him a little longer to get out of the way.
Count is now full at 3-2. That's right there. Ball strike 3. Esteban Yan moves Jeter off with one pitch and then hits the outer half of the plate with another.
Yeah, that's what that up and in pitch will do. It'll discourage you from going to the outside corner, as it did in Derek's at bat there, and Yan puts it right in a perfect spot. That's a great example of why pitchers don't try to hit hitters, but they try to back them off the plate so they can own that outside corner.
Here is Bernie Williams. Had a base hit in his last at bat. Started tonight at 335. That's where he is right now. And he takes a call strike from Esteban Yan. Bernie and Mo Vaughn locked up in a battle going into the final weekend of the season to determine the American League batting champion. Bouncing ball towards the middle. Chest high hop for Ledesma, who throws out Bernie Williams. Bernie's now 1 for 4 on the night. But after 7 innings of play here at Yankee Stadium, as Graham Lloyd comes in out of the bullpen to do the pitching, it's 5-2 Yankees. Yankees, top of the 8th inning. Join us tomorrow when the Yankees and the Devil Rays resume their battle in the Bronx. That's right, tomorrow the Yankees and the Devil Rays resume their battle right here at Yankee Stadium. MSG Network has it for you live beginning at 7:30 Saturday afternoon at 4 o'clock. The Yankees coverage on MSG continues with New York and Tampa colliding game 3 of this 4-game set. Catch all the pinstripe action coming up this weekend on MSG. Please check your local listings.
Chad Curtis moves over to center field. Bernie Williams will have the rest of the night off. Ricky Leday goes into left field where Chad was. And Graham Lloyd, another little mini tryout situation. Now, you wouldn't think Lloyd would have to do that when you look at these numbers, but in September he's not been effective against lefties, so he's going to get another chance here to retire Fred McGriff. Outside for a ball. Even the out he got on Monday night against Jim Thome, the Yankees just not happy with the way he's been throwing the ball during September. They want to see a little more stuff. That's in for a strike.
Come on, Freddie.
On the corner. 1-2, and that's what he did against the Cleveland Indians in his appearance last night, getting out Justice and Thome. Got ahead and then used either the slider or the fastball right on the outside corner. Ground ball right toward Knobloch, so Lloyd again does what he is supposed to do and what he'd be called on to do in postseason. It's just a one-man appearance. That's all Joe Torre wanted to see, is Lloyd retire a lefty. Not only gives the Yankees a chance to see it, but it gives Lloyd a little more confidence. He starts getting some hitters out like Thome and Justice and McGriff.
Yep, 3 pretty good hitters, 2 strikeouts and a ground ball to second.
Just like the 1996 World Series. 1 down in the top of the 8th. The Yankees 5 outs away from their 111th win. Back at the stadium with the Yankees on top by 3 after this. And for Graham Lloyd, he retires Fred McGriff first out of the 8th inning to protect the 3-run lead. And now Jay Tessmer, one of the rookie right-handers, the side armor, will come in and try to retire Bubba Trammell. It is final in Boston. The Red Sox are officially in. They will play the Cleveland Indians next Tuesday night. Next Tuesday afternoon, actually, as you see Tesmer's pitching line. First pitch outside to Bubba Trammell. (2-0). This is the 15th Yankee team that has won at least 100 games. And, of course, the standard is the 1927 Yankees, who won 110. 3-0 now. I don't know about during your career, Kenny, but for years, I always heard that as a point of reference when you started talking about great teams, or if you were struggling on the mound, they'd come out and say, who do you think you're pitching against, the 27 Yankees? I mean, throw the ball over. As the years go on now, this 1998 Yankee team, no matter what they do in the postseason, will probably be identified as the all-time winningest Yankee team. And Joe Torre has said all along, that is more even than the league record. That is what's special to him, to be able to say this ball club won more games than any Yankee team in history.
So you're saying they're going to change that?
Yeah, what do you think you are, the 1998 Yankees? And people might scoff at that and say, well, they had Ruth and Gehrig, but for depth, that pitch low for a ball. Now Tesmer 5 in a row out of the strike zone. For depth up and down the lineup and the pitching staff, Miller Huggins managed that 27 Yankee team. And nowadays I think we judge baseball records by seasons and not by an era. That's in for a strike. If you went by an era, you'd have to go back to the early 60 Yankees. When they acquired Roger Maris after the 59 season, that Yankee team averaged over 100 wins for the next 5 years. They won 5 pennants and 2 World Series. Curtis will make the grab and toss to first base to attempt the double play. Trammell back in time, and there are 2 down in the Tampa Bay 8th. So the era in the early 60s was economics these days will not allow a team to stay together for that long because of free agency. Players come and go, and
there's the Babe right there.
He's right in the middle, like maybe Miller Huggins to his left.
They had Earl Coombs and Bob Musial.
That's in for a strike to Mike Kelly. Yeah, the Babe in those days, I don't even think he was up to his top salary. Made 80 grand. That was the top salary of those days, and he was so much farther above any of the other players. I think the next closest was down in the mid-30s. 1-1 to Mike Kelly. If you joined us late, you missed some more exciting times provided by Shane Spencer. He hit a grand slam home run in the 6th inning. That's the difference in the ball game. Pitch gets away from Posada, and it's called a ball by Rick Reed. It's 2-1. Take a look at some of the names you were mentioning, Kenny, and their averages. That year when Ruth hit 60 and Gehrig hit 47, I mean, there were teams that year that only hit 20. Lazari with the average over 300. Earl Combs. That's in for a strike. 2-2.
When you look up and down that lineup, this Yankee lineup, you know, maybe more power throughout.
Yeah, and a 20-game winner. This Yankee team may not have that. David Cohn will get another opportunity on Saturday, but again, a lot of depth as you see the.
Look at those ERAs, tiny.
Full count now to Kelly.
And as you would expect them to be down if the firepower throughout the league wasn't what the Yankees had. As you mentioned, Ruth and Gehrig probably hit more than most teams. Babe Ruth hit 17 home runs in September that year.
And on the hands, Jeter will throw out Kelly. Tesmer comes in and does the job, gets the last 2 outs of the 8th, though the Yankees are 3 outs away from their franchise record 111th win. Shane Spencer will be up again in the 8th. You won't want to miss that. We'll be back on MSG after this. Yankees lead it 5-2. Field near the line. O'Neill appears to have room. He puts it away, and David Wells has pitched a perfect game. York Yankee Baseball is brought to you in part by Hoover. Nobody gets the dirt like Hoover. Nobody. Albie Lopez, right-hander, the Devil Rays acquired from the Indians, and there's another guy that's pitched quite effectively. 7 wins and a save, and he'll come in for the 53rd time and try to get the Yankees out in the bottom of the 8th. Homer Bush's first at bat. He went in to pinch run for Chili Davis. Good fastball, but it's low for a ball. And with all that speed you referred to on the bases, they all got to trot home on Shane Spencer's home run. That's low for a ball. I mean, some good Hall of Fame type ball players go years before they finally get a grand slam. Shane Spencer's got 2 in a month in his rookie year. 2 and 1 rather. Check that. Strike 1 to Homer Bush. Lofty batting average has done well in the limited opportunities Homer's had to play. Fouled out of play. 2 and 2. The mentioned the wild card race is in the National League is the one that'll attract the most attention. Day off today for the Mets and the Cubs. Cubs will go down to Houston. The Mets to Atlanta, and the San Francisco Giants are back in the picture. Barry Bonds with a home run today. They beat the Pirates. They're just 1 game back.
Yeah, they swept a 4-game series from the Pirates.
Full count to Bush.
You were mentioning Homer's limited action. 70 at bats for Homer Bush during this season, 1998 season. He had 50 in spring training.
So the whole year's been like training camp, but an enjoyable one. Fouled out of play, and the count's still full. Well, he's one of those things. Al Trautwig talked about our coverage on postseason on MSG, because everything is magnified, and that's where Homer Bush, could be a big factor. Late in the game, you go into pinch run, speed be important. You figure you see the best pitchers in postseason play, and the percentages say the games are going to be low scoring. Doesn't always turn out that way.
You might need somebody to score from first on an extra base hit.
It draws a leadoff walk, and Lopez waved his glove at Rick Reed like, where was that pitch? The players have not been too happy, but the fans have been happy with this guy. A standing ovation as he comes to the plate. And they're all saying, where is he going to hit it this time? Left, center, or right? He's already got a fan club. Low for a ball. If you missed it, this was it in the 6th inning. His second grand slam of his rookie year gave the Yankees a 5-2 lead. Bush on the run, and that's fouled out of play. The count 1-1. Another look at a grand slam.
This one on the road in Camden Yards off of Jeske Orozco. And once again, the right center field. Bases loaded. A grand slam for Shane Spencer. They're just about 180 miles south of here.
And to give you an indication, if Joe Torre decides to play a hunch why he might be in the lineup next Tuesday night, David Wells will pitch the opener. There seems to be combinations like that. It used to be Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden. Darryl would always hit a home run on the days that Doc pitched. Spencer's done quite well in the days David Wells has pitched.
Might wish that he could pitch every day.
Yeah.
He is homered. That 2 home run game he had a few days ago, maybe a week or so ago, Wells was on the mound. The other day, homered with Wells on the mound. In David's last start, the grand slam. And tonight, David Wells started the ball game and another grand slam.
Breaking ball inside, 2-1. And with his discipline, you know, he hasn't been overly anxious early in the count. He has been able to get himself in these situations. Alvarez fell behind, as Lopez has here with the count 2-1. Fouled out of play. And that broke his bat, so if that was a lucky bat, Shane's going to have to get a new one. And tonight, with that grand slam, Discover Card will donate $500 to the local chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, all for the grand slam hit by Shane Spencer. 6 home runs in the month of September. That ties Bernie Williams for the club lead. And we don't have any official statistics on rookies with part-time experience getting American League Player of the Week, but I think he's got a pretty good lock on it right now. Quick update from Boston. We mentioned they clinched the wild card spot officially. Mo Vaughn went 3 for 5, upped his average 2 points to .334. Got him. Well, it's only the second time he's even going to get an ovation for that. It's the second pitch that he has swung and missed since getting a chance to play every day.
And it was a good breaking ball. Look at this downer, down and away. Looked like a strike, went for it, and it disappeared.
Yeah, there's a lot of hitters that had trouble hitting that one. Good 2-strike late breaking slider. That's the first out of the inning, and here's Jorge Posada. 1 for 3, pair of strikeouts against Alvarez, and then singled against Esteban Yan as Bush dives back in. A little over 24,000 on hand tonight as the Yankees wind down the regular season. Breaking ball in. And 1 strike to Posada. Tomorrow night, El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, will start for the Yankees. Andy Pettit will also see some action. Bush looks like he wants to go, and he does. Good release by Flaherty. And they got it. Boy, did John Flaherty come out of the chute and throw out Homer Bush.
Well, Flaherty's thrown him out at about a rate of 34%, which is above the league average. You can see Ledesma catching the throw on the fly. You're right. He was almost kind of in a stand-up position when he got that pitch. Good pitch to throw on, a fastball up. Here's Ledesma to the bag, tags Homer Bush on the way by. Nice play all the way around by Flaherty and Ledesma.
Fouled out of play. Nice to see Ledesma was over the bag. A lot of times middle infielders get caught several feet ahead of the bag and they have to reach back. That costs some valuable time, but Ledesma was right over the bag and able to make the sweep tag to complete the play. See, there he is. Just catch it, and Homer Bush slides into the tag. Low, and it's 2-2 to Posada.
Yeah, part of having a good defensive club is having catchers who can at least put somewhat of a halt on a running game. And with Flaherty at 34% and Deep Felice right around there too, they have 2 catchers who throw the ball very well.
That's the strong part of this Tampa Bay team in their first year. The way they play in the field and fairly decent pitching. Jeff Nelson, who Joe Torre said he's the one guy I want to see have a few solid appearances, show he can throw the ball over the plate. He's going to get a chance to come in the 9th inning and face some right-hand hitters. Unless, of course, Larry Rothschild goes to his bench. And Posada draws a walk. That's the second walk issued by Lopez.
When he was with Cleveland, they used them both out of the bullpen and as a starter. Didn't really fit in either place. You know, he had some sparks where he showed that maybe he could get people out in both situations, but now has moved on to Tampa Bay.
Chad Curtis, who broke out of his home run slump last night by hitting his 10th of the year. Been on base a couple of times tonight, hit by a pitch and drew a walk. Strike one on the foul ball. Mentioned the pitching plans for tomorrow night for Joe Torre. Then David Cone will pitch Saturday. That's a 4 o'clock start. Cone in all probability tuning up for game 3. And Joe Torre is not officially announced who will start game 2. Be Hernandez or Pettit. That's fouled back again, and it's 0-2. But I think with Orlando Hernandez starting the ball game and then Andy Pettit coming in out of the bullpen, what the Yankees would like to have Pettit go through is a session of warming up in the bullpen and then coming in and pitching in relief, because later in the division series, say Andy were to start game 2, he would be on call for relief if the series goes games 4 and 5. 0-2 to Curtis, fouls that straight back. Arabu will pitch on Sunday afternoon along with several of the pitchers out of the bullpen. Mel Stottlemyre has been very closely monitoring a number of pitches and innings that all of the bullpen guys have been pitching recently. Got away from Flaherty, and Curtis is going to reach base 3 times in 3 different ways. He got hit by a pitch, he walked, and now he struck out.
Looks like this is going to be a strikeout and a wild pitch, because the breaking ball actually bounced in the dirt in front of Flaherty and then rolled all the way near the on-deck circle of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
So Brocious will get a chance again to up his RBI total. 2 down and 2 on, and we'll finish up the weekend series with the Devil Rays. Tomorrow 7:35 starts. Saturday 4:05. You can get that 1977 World Series replica pin, and Sunday the tribute to Joe D. John Shulock says no swing. That double was the first hit off Wilson Alvarez. He looked very David Wells-like the early part of the ball game, but the full counts, high pitches eventually caught up to him. Pop foul, 1-1.
They've got some power arms on this Devil Ray team, and you can understand why they are up there in team ERA. Lopez, Yan has a strong arm. We saw Alvarez strike out 6 in 5 innings. In a starting role, Rolando Araujo, one of the top rookie right-handers in the league, has won 14 games.
There's a look at the live armor, a sound of it you're talking about right there from Lopez. Yeah, the Tampa Bay scouts, obviously the strategy with Chuck Lamar, the general manager, and the scouting staff, Larry Rothschild, was let's get some pitchers with good arms. Some guys that can catch the ball in the field and go from there.
Chuck Lamar recently made a move by Terrell Wade, who used to be in the Braves organization, had some arm problems, and Braves thought highly of him when Chuck Lamar was over there. Now Terrell Wade picked up a victory in his 1 start for the Devil Rays thus far.
And Lopez can't find the strike zone. That's the 3rd walk of the inning. Check that. 2 walks, and he struck out Curtis on a wild pitch. Rick Williams for a quick trip to the mound. Williams said sometimes numbers are deceptive in this game. We know that. And he said the one problem his pitching staff has had, even though their earned run average looks good, is pitching well in games that they lead. You know, it's easy to find pitchers that can get you some outs when you're down 4 or 5 runs, but they're looking for guys that can pitch well with a lead. But tonight, even down 3, Lopez is really scuffling to find the strike zone. As Soho 0 for 3 against his fellow countryman Alvarez, as well as Esteban Yan, will step in for the 4th time tonight with the bases loaded and 2 down. That misses. Ball 1. Center field hit well, and Randy Wynn comes on to make the running catch. Yankees leave them loaded in the bottom of the 8th. Jeff Nelson will come on to start the 9th inning, and the Yankees trying to set the all-time franchise record with 111 wins. We'll have it for you when we come back. Nelson comes on to do the pitching start the 9th inning. Following our telecast tonight, the National Finance Sports Desk, a complete half-hour edition with host Marv Albert. And then after that, you know, MSG is the football network tonight at 11:30. Tune in to Giants Today. Find out how New York will recover from Monday night's loss to Dallas. You can get the answer straight from the Giant players. Giants Today right here on the MSG network. And then right after Sports Desk, you can catch all the national sports scores on Fox Sports News right here on MSG. Nelson completes his warm-up tosses, and we look at his pitching line. He's coming in for the 45th time as a pair of saves.
Now the song playing in the background here at the stadium is Electric Avenue. That's what Yankee Stadium has been this year. The Yankees going for their 59th home win against just 19 losses.
And the 59th would be a record setter. It would be the 111th win in franchise history, an all-time record. Miguel Cairo, the Tampa Bay second baseman, will lead it off. There's a familiar face, part of the 1996 world champions, Wade Boggs. He'll get an opportunity to add to his hit total. 78 away from that magic 3,000 mark. High for a ball. That's it for a strike to even the count. David Wells went 5. A little spotty with the control tonight. Walked 3. Mike Buddy would stand to get the win. Pitched a pair. Then Lloyd and Tesmer shared the 8th. And Mike Stanton is getting warmed up to lead you to believe he'll get a chance to get an out or two in the 9th. High to right field, and Spencer is there. Puts it away, 1 down.
Your attention, please. Ladies and gentlemen, batting for final team of the 12, Wade Boggs.
In for a strike. That's got to be an awfully nice feeling. When he returned to Boston, I think he heard a smattering of boos when he went in there as a Yankee. But they have really appreciated the contribution he made to the 1996 team. And in fact, all of the years that he was a Yankee. That's high. That's 1-1. He's 30th on the all-time hit list. He'll have to play at least another year and get enough at bats to get to that 3,000 mark.
$2,922 hits.
1 and 2.
Back just the other day, he was tied with Tony Gwynn, but Wade Boggs doesn't play against many left-handers anymore, and Tony Gwynn plays all the time. But Tony had a 3-hit night. Now leads Wade by 3. Gwynn being 29th on the all-time list.
You'll get a couple of at-bats probably tomorrow night against Hernandez. There's some thanks from the fans. That pitch upstairs, 2 and 2.
He said when he went back to Boston, he got a smattering of boos.
Coming in there as the first time as a member of the hated Yankees. Got him. That's the Nelson signature pitch. That's what Joe Torre's looking for. If he does have to face a left-hand hitter, and he did this so well against the Yankees in the 1995 Division Series, the backdoor breaking ball.
Set up outside by Posada. The ball looks like it's away. Nicely done. Right to the corner for ball strike 3. Late breaking slider.
So Jeff Nelson with a chance to get the 27th out in what would be the 111th win for the '98 Yankees.
And he'll have to get Wynn to do it.
Get Wynn to get a win. Strike 1. Breaking ball misses, and this is what Joe Torre thinks about getting this 111th win. That means more than beating the Cubs mark or even breaking the Cleveland Indians American League record mark. And they're 1 strike from doing it. It's 1-2. Breaking ball just missed. Similar to when Roger Maris set his mark. There's just a little over 20,000 in the stands, but those that are here know what's at stake. Got it. With a high fastball, Randy Wynn strikes out, and the Yankees have won a franchise record 111 wins. What a remarkable season for this ball club. And tonight the heroes, the main one, a rookie, Shane Spencer. The win goes to another rookie, Mike Buddy. Tomorrow night they could break that record.
Now you got to figure that Joe Torre's worn out a couple of pairs of shoes in these celebrations. Shane Spencer. There it is, 111 wins, sets an all-time Yankee record for wins in a single season. What a ball club. What a season this has been.
Feeling that Joe Torre might keep that lineup card for a while. The record 111th is in the books. We'll wrap this one up on MSG when we come back with our post-game coverage. Yankees win it 5-2. Back after this. Well, the crowd empties out, buzzing about the franchise record 111th win, and that's what it looks like on the Jeep game summary. All the runs in the 6th inning on Shane Spencer's 2nd career grand slam. Mike Buddy picks up the win, and several of the Yankee relief pitchers got a chance to come in and contributed well. So, Kenny, it's been quite a ride for us watching this ball club perform.
It certainly has been. It's just been a wonderful season to watch the way they have played. The 5 runs tonight, 4 hits in 1 inning. The Yankees only had 5 hits in the game. 4 of them came in 1 inning, and the big swing of the bat by Shane Spencer has been just outstanding. And to me, the way he swings the bat and his patience at the plate, when he takes pitches out of the strike zone, he knows they're balls, and he doesn't really offer. So the pitchers fall behind him thinking they can trick a young rookie. They can't do it. They come into him, and then he just launches.
It'll be awfully interesting to see what Joe Torre has to say on our postgame show about Shane Spencer's role in postseason play. Yankees win it 5-2, their 111th win. Right now we're going to go down to our studios in Manhattan, where Bill Daughtry is standing by at the MSG Sports Desk. Bill?
Thanks a lot, Jimmy. You can forget about a Boston Red Sox collapse in 1998. Boston clinched the American League wildcard berth tonight. Boston beat Baltimore 9-6 the final up at Fenway Park. Dennis Eckersley, he tied Hoyt Wilhelm's Major League record for career appearances, number 1,070 in tonight's game. Three-way tie for the race, the wild card race in that National League. It's a three-way race, I should say. One game separating the Mets, the Cubs, and the Giants. Giants with a 6-2 victory over Pittsburgh this afternoon. They're one game game behind the Mets and the Cubs with 3 to play. An engineer hired by the NHL has suspended his inspection of Nassau Coliseum. A dispute over what areas he could take a look at. Well, there was a dispute today and it'll be resolved in court tomorrow morning. Meanwhile, the status of tomorrow's Islanders-Devils game scheduled for Nassau Coliseum still very much up in the air. We'll tell you all about the Late Show with Marv right after this. Coming up on the late edition of the National Finance Sports Desk with Marv Albert, congratulations to the Yankees on win number 111. We'll get that look at the wild card weekend coming up between the Giants, the Mets, and the Cubs, and we'll check the Ranger goaltender with a microphone on and the anthem tryouts over in New Jersey. You stay tuned. More Yankees after this.
Hi, Chris Wolf for Dover. The score of the record-setting 111th win by the 1998 Yankees, a franchise record. Mike Buddy got the win. Should be an interesting post-game show. That's coming up courtesy of Jeep with Al Troutwig and Michael Kay. And then following that, a half-hour edition of the National Finance Sports Desk with Marv Albert. We'll be with you again tomorrow night, starting at 7 o'clock with the New York City Marriott's Yankee Scorecard Show. David Wells with his tribute to the Babe. Anniversary of the Babe's last game in the stadium. Shane Spencer, as usual, provided the heroics like the Babe did, only from the right side of the plate. Second Grand Slam home run this month. And Jeff Nelson closed it out by striking out Randy Wynn. The record-setting 111th win. Leon Schreier's been our producer. Bill Webb, the director. For Eddie Caginelli and all the crew down in the truck. For my partner, Ken Singleton. Jim Cott saying so long from the stadium where the Yankees won their record-setting 111th win. Postgame coming up next.
New York Yankees baseball has been brought to you by the Dime, the bank that's with you all the way. By the 68,000 professionals at Delta Airlines. By the Discover Card. By your Tri-State GMC dealers, comfortably in command. And by Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Center.
Well, a lot of people suggest...
This is a 111 wins edition of the Jeep Post-Game Report. It's brought to you by your Tri-State Jeep dealer. Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth. And now this group of pinstripe players wearing the interlocking NY stands alone. The Yankees beat the Tampa Bay Devil Rays 5-2. More heroics from Shane Spencer. An outstanding-looking Jeff Nelson closed it out for his third save. And we're back to talk about it all here on MSG. Hi, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig. You know, in every way, the Yankee franchise sets the bar for whether you can say you're great or not. How many wins, how many championships, how many division titles. For this group to have eclipsed a team that has for so many generations defined the absolute pinnacle of the sport, to me, is absolutely astounding. 111 wins with 3 games to go. Not to mention the starring role that Shane Spencer plays in this one. You got to figure he could be the starting left fielder on Tuesday night in Game 1. Now, in a couple of moments, we'll be sending you back to Madison Square Garden, where Marv Albert is preparing to deliver the National Finance Sports Desk. But as Marv would say, let's go to the highlights, or is that somebody else? Anyway, discover, playback, payback. Here's how it unfolded tonight at the stadium. Joe Torre has said the record means a lot to him. In the top of the second inning, David Wells may be saluting Babe Ruth's last game in 1934. We'll find out. But it was a bizarre inning for him. He walked 2 batters and then allowed Miguel Cairo to bring in 2 runs with that single. Bottom of the second inning, Wilson Alvarez looking strong. He had a very short-lived no-hitter through 4, striking out Jorge Posada to end the second. In the 4th, more good Wilson Alvarez. He strikes out Bernie Williams. But in the bottom of the 6th, Alvarez gets gotten to. Shane Spencer with the bases loaded. 2 grand slams in a week. He's having an unbelievable final homestand. This guy has been an absolute phenomenon. As he wins this one all by himself, the Yankees were down at the point he hit it 2-1. Boom. Ball game, they win it by the final score of 5-2. And we'll be talking an awful lot about Jeff Nelson and the way he closed this one out. In dominating fashion, He gets the strikeout to end the game, and the Yankees then congratulated each other, and I heard them come off the field. There were lots of high fives and high fists, but not one mention of 111. Maybe this team thinks they're not done.
You are watching the Jeep Post Game Report, brought to you by Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth. Experience. This portable Iowa music system features a dual CD changer, double cassette deck, digital tuner, remote control, and Q sound for 3D enhancement. Call 1-800-BUY-IOWA.
Well, first it was Miller Huggins, and then it was Ralph Houck in 1961. And now Joe Torre's 1998 Yankees have passed them both by. Let's go down the hall into the manager's office, where Michael Kay joins Joe.
Joe, you are now the manager of the Yankee team that's won more games. How does that feel?
It feels enormous. It really does. I know we have a lot of work ahead of us, but you know, this is completely separate, and just what we've done during the course of this year has been, hate to say unbelievable because it happened, but it's been terrific.
Were you thinking about the record, the last inning they had shots you on the bench? You seemed like you were deep in thought.
Oh yeah, you know, even down 2-0, I said I want to do it tonight. I don't want to wait till tomorrow night, and you know, obviously we have to keep doing things, take Boomer out because we reach a pitch count with him and stuff like that, but. It's really something. George Steinbrenner called me, and it was funny. He says to me, he says, "What's new? How'd we do tonight?" You know, I said, "Right." But you know, he should be congratulated also because you know, he didn't own the 27 team.
Seems like he did, though.
Well, yeah, it seems like he's been here a long time. But I'm really pleased, and Nelly gave me the ball after the game, so it's a special night.
Where's the ball go?
I don't know right now. It's in my pocket, and you know, it'll have a special place in my house.
Will one more win mean something to you because that'll break the American League record?
It will, but I don't think it'll mean as much as this one tonight. I mean, and to, you know, being a member of the Yankees and knowing what the Yankees have meant to baseball and to sports, not only baseball, and to you know, past the 27 Yankees and wins is, I think that's the tops for me.
Well, one of the guys that helped you get there, Shane Spencer, Grand Slam, does he continue to amaze you?
It's unbelievable. I mean, he hit a changeup over the right center field fence. He is just locked in right now, and I just hope it stays that way.
Kind of spooky to see this guy do this out of nowhere.
Well, he got our attention. You know, if you're going to have a hot streak, I guess this is the best time to do it than the first week in March or something.
How about Boomer? He walked 3, and he had not walked 3 in 10 previous starts. Any concern?
Not really. I mean, I think that second inning frustrated him, where he threw 40 pitches in the second inning because they just kept fouling the ball off. But he got his work in, and that's basically all we wanted. I think he'll be fine.
Time now for more, and the Clubhouse Report brought to you by the New York Marriott Marquis. The Marriott Marquis is Broadway's biggest hit. Now, the Yankees have gone to work and quickly assembled this photograph of the 1927 Yankees intermingled with the 1998 Yankees, Murderers Row 1927, Murderers Row 1998. And now we're back in our studios with Michael Kay.
Pretty neat.
It's just great. And you could tell this was special for Joe.
Yeah, he's been pointing this for about a month and a half now. Even when they had a chance at the 1906 Cubs, this was the one that made a big deal to him. And, you know, I think that George Steinbrenner, probably the 54 Indians, made a big deal to him because he was in his 20s at that time living in Cleveland. That was probably a team that he rooted for. And, you know, one more win, and this team has won more games than any team in the history of the American League. That's pretty special.
We didn't see it tonight because it was too crowded, but in recent games we've seen the little statues of the 1927 Yankees Murderers Row behind Joe Torre. You know, 30 years from now there'll be a manager in that office with the 1998 Yankees behind him, maybe.
It is kind of sobering to think that, you know, this might be the team that teams aim for the next 50 years. Just consider it took 44 years to reach 111, and it took the Yankees 71 years to beat the 1927 Yankees. So it's not easy to win this many games, especially in this day and age when there's not a lot of pitching out there. Usually you get maybe 3 good starts out of a rotation, then 2 bad ones. To get 111 wins at this point is unbelievable.
Shane Spencer is unbelievable, but I think one of the most important things we saw in this game was that breaking ball of Jeff Nelson's in the 9th inning.
I think Jeff Nelson's okay, and I think that he could pitch back-to-back. I think he could pitch back-to-back-to-back. That's all the Yankees need, and he is so important. He might be the most important guy in the bullpen against the Texas Rangers because you've got to get out Juan Gonzalez, and that's the biggest thing. Here's a pitch to Boggs. Shows he could even get out lefties in case of Rusty Gray. Guerrero's up there before you get to Gonzalez. Backdoor slider, whipping right around the outside corner. Just a brilliant pitch.
All right, now we credited David Wells with being savvy enough to know that this was the last day that Babe Ruth played in 1934 because of his socks being up. What's the explanation?
He said El Duque told him to pull his pants up.
So it had nothing to do with Babe.
Nothing to do with Babe.
That we just missed on that one. Coming up next, it's the National Finance Sports Desk with Marv Albert. And we'll be putting a wrap on this edition of the Jeep Post Game in a moment.
Post Game Report brought to you by Jeep, the most award-winning brand of 4x4s on earth.
So now there are 3 games to go in the 1998 season, 5-2, and we'll be back on MSG. Our pregame coverage starts at 7 o'clock. Coming up next, Marv Albert has all the details on the day in forth at the National Finance Sports Desk. And then tonight, following Marv's half-hour report, it's the Giants Today. Tonight at midnight. Mike, are you on?
No, tomorrow.
Oh, that's good. Fox Sports News tonight. So their names were Musial, Gehrig, Ruth, and these names are O'Neill and Bernie Williams and Andy Pettit and Hideki Irabu and Jorge Posada, and it's unbelievable that they've won 111 games.
1927 Yankees. There's Gehrig, probably the most famous team in the history of sports. Now the Yankees have more wins than them.
And how this prospect from nowhere, who's been waiting 9 years for a chance, is making the most of it. Jeff Nelson closed it out, and to Joe Torre and the 1998 Yankees, we say congratulations. With Michael Kay, I'm Al Troutwig. It is 111.
Good evening. It's Thursday.